Okay. Looks like we're on Twitch and YouTube is good. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I have my boy Zai back here, who was
Hello.
gracious enough to come on and just have a little chat with me. And we're officially not going to start the 1v1 right this second. We're just going to chit chat for a little bit about other things, talk, and then we'll get into it once more people trickle in from the streams. So, just want to say right off rip, Zyback, dude, what's been going on, brother? Like, how have you been? How are things?
Things good. Very excited for the 11th. Looking forward to getting back in and playing. I think this seems to be honestly more exciting than like the idea of Phase 3 was. It seems
Dude,
like people are actually kind of excited this time around.
I've been saying this. I don't think we've had phase 3. This to me is phase 3.
The real Phase 3.
The real phase 3 is literally happening on the 11th. I think what we've been experiencing in this whole, I think it was needed, but it's going to be really scary because there's just going to be so much so fast. And I think if people aren't prepared or ready for really what's to come, because it's really going to be a lot of negativity from a lot of different places. And so I really don't know how people are going to feel about that, like in the Ashes community specifically.
I mean, part of me thinks that part of me thinks that's going to happen for sure, but also part of me makes it seem like we're building this up in our head to where like, oh, it's just going to get bombed, it's going to get bombed, it's going to get bombed, and maybe it won't be as bad as we're making it out to be. Like,
Right.
yes, I think a lot of people are going to, I think it's going to happen to a degree, but people might not trash it as much as everyone's thinking they're going to. I don't know. It might not be the worst. Like I could see a reality where it gets mixed reviews instead of like mostly negative on Steam, if that makes sense.
Right. And
which is pretty typical. Like a game like Overwatch is considered mixed review, which is kind of crazy because that's obviously like a pretty high quality product, even if you don't love the way the game is anymore.
Right. So have you been playing other games like in the interim, since I know you haven't really been playing Ashes lately?
Well, yeah, sort of. Not as much as I'd like. Like, I do dabble in shooters, but I don't get as like invested in them. Like I'm not at work thinking about shooters. Whereas I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys, you'll just be at work sort of in your own little head. And then you'll have like an epiphany. You'll be like, oh my God, I just thought of this thing. And then you like pull out your phone like a psycho and start like jotting it down. I don't think about other genres like that. I still enjoy them. Like I still like a good shooter, Marvel Rivals, stuff like that. The Finals, Battlefield 6, but I don't know. I would at best only play those games like casually. I'm not gonna really jump into the deep end and have them consume my life.
So it's more so
but an
like
MMO. Oh boy, I
those are like time waster games then, like Arc Raiders, all those kind of shooter games. I used to think that way a lot about Halo when I was like in my high school years, dude. I used to couldn't wait for school to be over so I can go home and go in the Xbox lobby and play some fucking Halo. Now shooters don't really, today's shooters just don't do it for me. Maybe it's a boomer thing. Maybe it's like me being old. I just don't find it to be appealing personally.
Yeah. I guess, everybody likes to accuse everyone else of having like rose tinted glasses. Like, oh, games were better back in the day. The only genre I actually agree with that being true is the MMORPG genre. I think the MMOs of, 15 years ago were better than what we have nowadays. But I think every other genre, especially when it comes to having like lots of good things to choose from, is better than ever. Like you personally might not be super into shooters, but if you are like a shooter fan, you have got a ton of really good games. Like there are more good shooter games, RPG games, single player games that you can go on Steam and get for like $1. Like what is The Witcher 3 now? Like $3 to buy? Like I mean, like it's crazy. So there's more good games than ever, with the exception of MMORPGs, where it's like you literally play Korean slop or something that's 20 years old. Those are your only choices.
True.
It's crazy.
Well, let's go ahead and get started with the whole thing. I'm excited to talk to you about Ashes because there's so much. This is why when I talk to Burns, we talked for almost like an hour and 30 minutes because there was, or it was like an hour and 45 minutes because there was just literally so much ground to cover from, phase 3, but you know all about that. So let's just get in. Let's start the official
Sure.
episode
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get started.
I watched the show literally. I mean, at least the show is running while I sleep. This is sort of some inside baseball, but Vladis. So I'm a big YouTube. I view YouTube a lot, and I am subscribed, or I've watched 2,200 or 2,720 channels. Well, it's going to be inverted there, but 2,720 channels, and Vladis is literally my number one channel on my YouTube Rewind, because
Wow.
what I do is I go to sleep and I just put on like the 2-hour podcast and I go to sleep and it just runs all night. So, yeah,
Dude,
you're
that's
number
awesome.
one out of almost 2,800.
It's like you may not have watched me, but your subconscious like knows all the episodes, like knows all of the streams, basically.
It's weird.
Dude, that's awesome though. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get the episode started. And again, just want to say to chat, me and Zyback may not be because this is like a show, right? So I want to pay attention to Zyback and what he's talking about. And then afterwards, after the whole thing, we'll answer some chat questions. We'll interact with you guys. But just letting you know, FYI. I will try to, if there's maybe
I've got it pulled up on my end too. So if I see something like crazy,
exactly.
Because I'm sure somebody will have like something that's
some take or something,
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's start it in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back to the 1v1 podcast. I am your host Vladis, and today I have with me a very special returning guest. He is our rogue and ganker of Verra, the pirate of the tropics, the lawless Darth Vader rogue. He is our boy Zyback. What is going on, brother?
Not much, just waiting for the 11th like everybody else.
Bro,
I did. So
you did?
Yes, I did. I didn't take off the day the servers come up because I figured there was going to be like some hiccups. But I've
100%.
got Friday until the next Thursday, so it's quite. And I have a bunch of time I got to burn before the end of the year. So I'll be able to throw myself at this one a little more than normal.
My boy Royer, who also makes Asher's content, he was doing the same thing. He's like, "Oh, I'm sick. I can't go in work because he has days."
I've got a few of those days too. Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot that, first of all, we haven't talked in a while, but I also want to say too, it is awesome to have you in the roundtable that we're going to have with Steven on Thursday. And let me just say, man, I'm really excited for your questions. I think, we were kind of talking a little bit last night, and I truly feel we have a banger that we've been working on. Everybody.
I think everybody's got good questions for sure. I don't think there's going to be any accusations. Obviously, I don't want to get into specifics because we want people to tune into the actual thing.
Right.
But I don't think anybody's going to be accused of softballing it too much. I know I've got some questions that are probably going to come off as a little abrasive, or but yeah, it's going to be good. Obviously we all love the game and we want what's best for the game, but I speak for the PvP oriented players, and there's definitely some things that, some questions we want answered. That's really it.
No, yeah. I mean, I think ultimately, like, PvP, I think you would agree in phase 2, probably even 2.5 was probably one of the best states of PvP that we've had.
Yeah.
And then, at this new phase 3 that we got, I say in quotes because I don't think it really was phase 2.75. Let's just say something like that.
Yeah.
We did get a huge econ update, right? The major thing that we've been waiting for months. And that had its own, share of issues, its problems. There was also, dupes. There was RMT. There was an add-on overlay that existed, didn't exist. Fugazi, not real. And so I feel like there was just a lot all happening at once. But I do appreciate the fact that we actually did it, because it showed a lot of issues. Imagine if, we didn't have all of that and we do launch on the 11th the way phase 3 did. The debacle, the insanity we would have went through. It would have been, especially towards new players, because there really wasn't anything really new or something that actually helps them learn the game at the start of, phase 3. So like, how
Yeah.
was your take? Like, first of all, taking your time, I'm pretty sure you were still looking at the PTR patch notes live. You were still being very close to the chest with like probably
Oh
listening to the
yeah,
community and
yeah.
stuff. But like, what was your thing about, playing phase 3, why you decided to take a break and just everything in general?
I mean, I pretty much took a break for the same reason a lot of other like PvP oriented players did, is because there just wasn't anything there. The game turned into like a farming simulator.
Yeah.
Somebody could have handed me best in slot gear, and I still wouldn't have played because the only PvP that was happening was organized scrims at that
Mhm.
point. Which I mean is fine. Like I don't hate that, but it's like I don't really play MMOs for that either. It's the
Right.
same. So
It's like almost like going to like a shooting range to shoot cattle. It's like, bro, I want to be in the wild. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be easy. Like from what you're talking about scrims and stuff like that. Like I want to be out in the tropics or like in these lawless territories and see people naturally in the game and not through some
mhm.
organized, chaos kind of thing.
Yeah, and not that, and again, not that I haven't done that before, but it's like, I'm not gonna only play the game for that.
Right.
And that's pretty much what I would have been doing. So I didn't even bother getting to level 25 in phase 3 because I looked, talked to my friends and people in my guild, then they were like, yeah, we're not even really PvP. We're not even really doing anything outside of scrims. So it's like, well, why am I here?
Right.
I leveled up almost exclusively in lawless zones, and I saw one or two players the whole time because the lawless zones were useless. Um, it was bad. Honestly, phase 3 was
Mhm.
kind of a waste of time if you were like a PvP. Honestly, even if you weren't a PvP oriented player, it was the way I like to view the game is it's kind of like the stock market. Over time, it goes up, but phase 3 was definitely a dip. Like
Mhm.
the game for the longest time just continually got better, and it was better and better and better. And I think phase 3 was the first time it's like, oh, the game is definitely worse. But I think we're gonna. I think it's better. It's going to be better with this upcoming patch. So
Yeah.
that's
So
kind of my take.
I wanted to ask you about flagging in general, because, you know, we go into ashes, right? And really, you're only going to flag up if you're going to, if someone's running a caravan and you could become an attacker, or maybe you go to a lawless, purple circle like a civilian, or somewhere in the tropics or June Dark. Do you think like as a PvPer, their ashes of creation should create an incentive for people to be a combatant just all the time? You know what I mean? Like, or do you think,
Yeah.
because I kind of just have a feeling that, and this is coming from someone who primarily PvEs, right? But I think of like war mode
Yep.
in World of Warcraft, how there's like you get an experience buff. There's like, I think like better loot. There's like loot boxes drop from the sky that create these little pocket, moments and stuff like that. So you want to be the first one to get the chest, kind of thing. Like, I'm just curious from your perspective, would you want something like that?
Um, I mean, if it was a thing, I'd utilize it, but I'm not sure it really fits into like the vision of the game that they're going for.
Mhm.
Um, that's like a very, they're trying to make this like systematic or this open world game where it's like really dynamic and like anything can happen and you have these like crazy like social moments and whatever.
Mhm.
And like something like that, while I would utilize it, I'm sure a lot of people would. Um, it does give the game a very systematic feel, and they would also have to make it really, really good. Like they would have to really incentivize it because war mode and WoW people don't really use it, to be honest.
Mhm.
When New World had that forced flag thing,
Mhm.
nobody used it really. At least when I played the game, like I,
Right.
I left mine on, and just nobody would use it because the bonuses just weren't worth it.
Right.
And for whatever reason, MMO devs won't really turn that knob to make it worthwhile.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where if it was in the game, I don't think it would even really matter. Unless they really crank that dial and it's like, guess what? If you're flagged up, you get 30-45% more loot. Like something like aggressive.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what it would need to be. Like seriously.
Wow.
Otherwise, like look at crates and caravans. Like
Mhm.
caravans are a good bit better than crates, but
Mhm.
it's still not worth it, right? Everybody
Mhm.
still runs crates.
Right.
Um,
So
so yeah.
do you think like in your mind, what would fix like going from, phase 2, 2.5 and going into this brand new phase 3, is the call to bring PvP back to not even its former glory, but even surpass that, right? Like, let's go beyond, because we should have gone beyond. We should have
Yeah, for
got
sure.
stuff from phase 2, improved it in phase 3, but it felt like it went backwards. So how can we not only go one step forward, but 2 steps forward with PvP?
I think you just have to create strong incentives to go to the lawless zones, strong incentives to, we're going to get the castle siege system, and there's going to be like that. That will be a pull for sure. But I think just like in a dynamic sense, we have the sports fishing, which is going to be a pull. That's like a big gold generating source. So that's going to be good. We have the Harbinger system coming up, which is going to have that like corrupted resource that can be like transmuted into anything. That's going to be good. But just like more exclusive items and things that can only be obtained in PvP zones. The way I view lawless zones is if you see a lawless zone and nobody is in it, you should be pinging your guild like, guys, there's nobody in the lawless zone. Get here now. We gotta take advantage. Like it needs to be like really juiced up with the incentives. And I
And
think that's really all the problem is. It's just the incentive structure is way off.
so if you were the one, the dev, to create this incentive structure for lawless territories, like what would you do? Would you make the circle bigger? Would you add like a multiplier for experience? Would you add potentially the drops, or not even the drops, but let's say even the gatherables in that area to be of like higher quality potentially, or more quantity? Like what would you do?
Yeah, the gatherables. That's a great suggestion with having the gatherables in the sphere better. I'm not sure if that might actually be a thing because you get a luck bonus, like a global luck bonus for being in the lawless zone. So maybe that is a thing,
Mhm.
but really just bumping up those numbers on all of that stuff because right now it's like 10% and you can't really feel it. Like yeah, you can feel a little bit, but if it was something you could really feel, I think that would have a dramatic effect. Also, for it's got to be intentional, but none of the really good areas of the game are lawless. Why is Carfin not lawless? Why is Forge not lawless? Like, why are they not dynamic lawless? I can get, let people farm there in peace from time to time, sure. But like, why is that never on the rotation? That, like, come on. Like, I can't not think that's intentional.
Right.
Um, and you could do things with like right now the lawless trophies not super useful. Make a lawless trophy vendor, put some sort of consumable, you can never have too much of it kind of item on there. Put I don't know, like some trying to think of something that wouldn't undermine a profession, but like have some materials that are used for professions on a lawless vendor, and the only way you can get that particular thing is through resources that you get from the lawless zone. Um,
Or even like seasonal cosmetics, right? So like a
sure.
costume basically that's like only PvP people will get it because it's based off of how many trophies you get, right? So it's like if you want to look like fucking Shredder or something like that, you need to get that costume. You need to go get some trophies then. You know what I mean? So it's like I would love if, because World of Warcraft did this, right? You have your PvP sets and then you have your PvE
Yep.
sets, right? So it's like I think that's always great, right? The fact when you see somebody with like a really cool looking set and you're like, how the fuck did they get that? Oh, it's because there are, a bandit basically. They're going out and getting those trophies and doing that. But it's not just like cosmetics, it's also like other things too, right? You can even give them like special like potions, you know what I mean, or certain things you can use in those kind
Yeah.
of PvP matches and stuff like that. Like even you can even turn in your trophies to potentially get like a stealth for a little bit. For like as a fighter I can get that potion
Yeah, that would
and
be cool
become
to
stealth,
have
you know.
the World of Warcraft consumable items, the
Right,
fun battleground, like silly items. You could have
right,
some I know they're probably not gonna want to go too crazy with that, but like they could do the real thing is it's got to be exclusive, right? So you
yes,
like people like you can go to a lawless zone and get 10% more glint. Like great. Like
right.
that like nobody cares. But if it was like an exclusive thing that was required for a certain craft, for a certain kind of like for enchanting or like something that is ideally evergreen. The problem with like not that cosmetic stuff's not a big thing, it would get people in there because it would. But like you got to have something that's evergreen, that's getting churned through,
Right,
that people like always want, that you can never have too much of.
right.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'd like to see on like a lawless trophy vendor. That like what do I want to do? I just got home. I have 45 minutes before I got to go do something. What can I do? Well, I'll
Right.
go farm some lawless trophies, and If nobody shows up and I get no PvP, great, got a bunch of lawless trophies. If people show up and I PvP, great, got some PvP, right? So just something to
Well,
get bodies out there.
well, how do you feel like as a PvP or someone who goes to these lawless territories a lot? Do you feel like there are, like if you logged in, like you got home from work, you want to play for that 45 minutes, do you feel there's lawless territories to actually go to? Do you feel there's like plenty of them or different options, or do you feel like, oh shit, there's like none right now, or
I mean, there's
whatever?
none right. Well, I have not tested the Harbinger stuff on the PTR enough to really speak on it. I don't know like how consistently that event is up. In the past, so the reason why the Lawless June Dark was so awesome for PvP oriented players, especially the types like me that like to just sort of go out in the jungle and hunt people, was because it was that. I
Right.
could just be out in the June Dark. Like once I hit level 18, I literally never left the June Dark. I was there from 18 to 25, killing people even at level 18.
Jesus.
And the reason why I did that was because I could just log in and like there would be people there doing stuff because there was an incentive to be out there. They had those exclusive items that only dropped in the June Dark and everybody wanted them. So there was tons of people at these little camps and world bosses and trying to get these things.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Well,
there was plenty of opportunity.
but it's interesting because the June Dark is going to be a level 30 to 50 zone. So if we're going to be leveling from, you know, let's say, levels 1 through 25, which will be in the Riverlands or the Anvils, I mean, do you think there needs to be more, like you said, of a rotation of these lawless kind of like hotspots kind of thing? Because I've heard people say that there just isn't many in the Riverlands, there isn't many in the Anvils. But as someone who doesn't PvP, I don't really pay attention to them. Like usually for me, like when I'm going out to doing my gathering or my routes or whatever, I'll be like, oh, I can't go near civilian because it's in, it's a lawless territory for now.
I mean, I feel like I feel like it wouldn't be hard for them to place more of them around the map. I don't know. I wouldn't think that'd be that crazy of an ask if that truly is like a problem. If there's just not enough of them,
Mhm.
I can see why maybe they don't want too many of them because you do sort of want to concentrate people, and
Right.
you want them to last a certain amount of time. So like naturally, like oh look, the lawless whatever is up for the next. I think they last what an hour and a half, 2 hours. They last a good bit of time. Um, so they want people to be able to like travel there and exist there and for things to happen. So maybe they don't want too many to dilute it, but I feel like that's something that probably will have to be tuned. But right now nobody cares because
Right.
there's not enough of a draw. But
Yeah.
the way I envision my perfect like way of the lawless zones being implemented is even if you personally are not like a PvP player, let's say you're just out and about in the world and a lawless zone pops up and nobody's around and you're like and even somebody like you who's not normally like a super big PvPer, you're like hey this thing just popped, I'm gonna stay here for 15 minutes and just get what I can because I nobody's probably gonna show up in 15 minutes and then I'm gonna get it. Like it should be alluring enough to where even the non PvPers are like I'm gonna jump in real quick and just be real careful and
Right.
then I'll run away. Like it should be that kind of like allure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm really excited, and hopefully, like they do a good job with world events because we've known there's going to be PVE world events, like the goblins invading a settlement, But I think of like PvP world events because I know most people want battlegrounds. They're like, dude, I want battlegrounds, or it's like 10 versus 10, 20 versus 20, or these like bigger things, right? I know in Ashes we can potentially go bigger, but we all know how the servers are sometimes. So, I would love if there was like, do you know those little events? We're literally right outside line hold where it's like the goblins, you have to kill like the flares or even like the caravan down one,
Yeah,
and
I
there
know what
has
you're
to
talking
be
about.
like player participation. Well, I
Mm.
was kind of thinking like for battlegrounds, like wouldn't it be really cool if like there was like an event and you basically went there and as soon as you get there, it's kind of like the caravan, but instead of attacker defender, it's like red team, blue team. And basically you go there, you hit, oh, I'm going to be in red team. Someone's also going to be blue team. Once there's enough participants in there, then a countdown happens and then it opens up as an actual PvP battleground. Like that to me would be like really cool because that will incentivize players. And then there also could be like rewards for like the winners and losers kind of thing, right? Just something like, hey, thank you for participating, but thank you for winning. This is like a little bit more of a box for you guys. Like I think that would be really cool. You know what I mean? Like just stuff to kind of change it up because I feel like, even if it was even like a type of like a PVX thing where it's like, yes, it's like a battleground, but there's also like a PvE objective, you know, like whether it's like oddball, capture the flag, you know, kind of thing. Like, cause I think just having just lawless zones, I mean, I'm not a PvP, but that sounds kind of plain too, you know, it's like,
Yeah,
I'm not,
they definitely could make it more interesting. I've had a few ideas like this myself,
yeah.
but I'll let you continue. Were you done with your thought, or did you have
Yeah,
another
yeah.
thought?
I just want to see like from your perspective, like, would you want something like that to have like
Uh,
these more battleground feels to it?
yeah. So yes and no. So what I
Okay.
don't want is I don't want battlegrounds in the sense of what you think with World of Warcraft, where it's like queue up for a battleground and you just go to some instance thing, because I think that's sort of
Right.
against the spirit of the game.
Right.
But what I do think they can do is have instanced content that is tied to the open world. Imagine there is
Interesting.
like an arena, like a physical arena in the game, and it's like King of the Hill, and everybody goes to it, and there's a portal. And just to have it be like a fair fight style system to where it's actually like an 8v8 or a 10v10 or whatever, you and your team go to the portal, and you have to go to the physical in-game location, and then you are teleported into some sort of instance. And I know Albion, I don't play Albion, but they have a system called Hellgates, where it's essentially that, but it's a dungeon. So imagine you're in a dungeon that is instanced, but it's instanced for two parties of players. So now it's like your group wants to kill the boss, but there's also another group in there. So
Right.
like you're fighting them over the boss, and it's instanced, but that instance is tied to the open world. So it's like everything. It's dynamic. It's a dynamic open world event, and it's PvP and it's PvE. I think stuff like the only problem with that is like some engineer, they're gonna have to like threaten some engineer's family to get that running, because that's just a lot to make a system like that. But that would be like if I could just snap my fingers to make it happen. I think something like that would be super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get it's a lot of work, obviously.
I think another really simple thing too, and again, it's my WoW brain, sorry, but I think of like the Gurabashi arena where it's like as soon as you hop in there, you're automatically flagged and it could be like a free for all or whatever. And in that arena, there's usually like a chest that kind of spawns like very periodically, like not periodically, but it's like rare, right? And there's like spoils inside or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I think shit like that is like really fucking cool. And that became a
Yeah.
staple of vanilla WoW for a long time, that thing. And I feel like, you know, that's not instance, that's still in the open world, that doesn't take people out or whatever. And that's kind of like my mindset too. I don't want to take people into instances because I really want people to utilize it, and I'd want people to like, and I don't know how that would work as far as like the thing I was talking about, like red and blue team thing, because I think it should be timed, of course, but I don't know if, because it's in the open world, what I don't want is like outside interference kind of thing. And I don't know how
Yeah,
you feel about,
that's why you sort of have to lean on instancing a little bit.
right,
But that's why I want all. That's why if there's ever any sort of fair fight instance style system, I do want it tied to the open world.
right,
Um, like my idea, like obviously, as anybody that's watched my YouTube channel knows, I was a huge World of Warcraft arena guy,
mhm,
and if arenas were an Ashes of Creation, I would play the hell out of them. But
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that a system where you just queue up for arenas in a city is a great idea. I would love if arenas were like events that were tied to the open world, but they were instance, so you didn't have the outside interference, but it's like part of the world and the game at a larger in a larger way than just sitting in a city queuing up.
I would personally, as someone who would love to spectate on that shit, I would love if there was like a coliseum and there's like an invisible wall. So like I can watch, but I can't interfere. Like I
Yeah.
can't do anything to the players. So you don't really technically need an instance. You just got to create like a dome to where
Yeah, just invisible walls, yeah.
players can't get in kind of thing. But you can see like if Zyback and Burns are going to fight two other people, I can see it like right there. That's what I've always wanted from Ashes of Creation, is to create a thing where it is a queue, right? You have to queue up, but you're not going to be in an instance. You're just going to be in a more protected, invisible field to where other people could, because I want it to be like that, because then you can have bets, you can do shit like in Discord. Like maybe you can't bet, of course, in the game, but like, you know, have little bots or whatever, like, hey, who's going to win this match or whatever, especially if like you were to have arena within like potentially a specific window of time, and then the Coliseum kind of closes until the next day kind of thing. So you can't do it 24/7 basically. Like there's only like a 5-hour window that you can go to the Coliseum and sign up to participate, and then once that window closes, then the Coliseum closes until the next time. Like that's kind of like what I've always envisioned in my head. Does that sound
Yeah,
cool to you, or I
yeah.
don't know?
So I think that is more in line with how I would do it as well. Um, Again, I come from the World of Warcraft arena world. If they literally cloned World of Warcraft arenas and put them in Ashes of Creation, I would play it. A lot of people would play it, but again, like I said, I don't think it's necessarily good. I think that having a little bit of like mystique and mystery, like a lot of people want leaderboards, like, oh, I want to see who's the best arena team. Well, you're probably gonna know who you think might be the best, but I think there's some value in not necessarily having a leaderboard where it's like, who is the best? Where it's not like quite so solved. And again, that would sort of play into like the arenas being up temporarily, right? Like, oh shit, Zybak's team is here and Yellow's team is here, and it's like, oh wow, shit's going down now. Like, I think that would be a bit more interesting than just leaderboard, queue up for it,
Right.
whatever. And
And
also, you don't know who's gonna come.
true. True, true,
Yeah.
true. I think, because we know that Ashes is going to have a leaderboard. Steven said it was going to be like a seasonal leaderboard. I'm curious as to how that's going to be curated when that releases, and if that's even going to release before the launch of Ashes of Creation, which I
Or
hope
if
it
it even
does.
is a thing. I mean, like,
Yeah,
they've said so much stuff
I
that,
know.
and this is not really crapping on them at all. This is just how video games are. When you have the concept of a game, everything is going to happen, right? But you have to cut a lot of stuff. That's every game. Most games that had expansion packs, the expansion packs are just stuff that got cut from the original game. Do I think there's going to be a stock market coming to Ash of Creation anytime soon? No, I don't think anyone does. Like, if you go look at the wiki, it's just full of crackhead ideas that obviously aren't
Right.
going to happen.
I think they
So,
probably won't happen initially, but my hope is they happen later. My before Alpha 2 was even out, I wanted the entirety of this game to come out. And clearly that's not going to happen. So, what things are not going to be there? I mean, we'll definitely find out. That's for sure. But
yeah, we'll find out.
I did want to ask you another thing, because they made some significant changes to TTK. And I know you may not have been playing a lot this phase 3, but from all the stuff your friends have been telling you, your other fellow PvPers, like, how do you feel, even currently right now, the state of TTK and Ashes of Creation going into the 11th?
I assume you're talking about PTR, talking about PTR. It seems a little fast. It definitely seems a little fast from what I've seen. Some of the arguments some people are making is that it's not that bad in group fights if you have a bunch of like clerics and bards that are sort of like softening things up.
Right.
But from what I've seen of the small scale stuff, like, people are just exploding.
Is that I'm sorry, is that with a caveat? Because I know on PTR people are literally fucking an all legendaries, all enchanted. Is that what they're like? Is it
So
fast with that, or is it fast with them just an all in whites or all in rares?
it's fast all around. So the thing with
Oh,
the
okay.
enchanting, so when you enchant a gear to plus 20, it increases the stats of that by a percentage, so that it
Mhm.
increases the defensive and the offensive capabilities.
Okay.
Now there is an argument to be made that things like base health mean less when you just, like, you're not, like, your base health is worth less when the stats in general are higher.
Right.
Um, but it's fast all around. Like, people were doing tests on, like, with level 15 duel. It just seems fast systematically across the board. Low level duels are fast. People are just hitting numbers for very large percentages of other people's health. And in the same way, healers are also healing absurdly high numbers. So it seems like we just got to turn the dial down a bit on both damage and healing, because the actual health bars don't matter much. It's like, it's very much a I'm alive or I'm dead situation. It seems. Now, obviously, this is the PTR. Nobody's gotten a serious amount of reps on this yet. But I am concerned that a really fast time to kill is not great for new player retention and new players learning the game.
No, I mean, we learned that in phase 1, and also in the
And
start.
phase, yeah,
Yeah, phase 2. They didn't get
phase
fixed
two.
until like almost in the middle of phase 2, really,
Yeah,
when they
and
fixed the
it was really
TTK.
bad. And I have YouTube montages of me in phase 2, 3, and 4 shotting people. And in the PTR feedback, I'm like, this is not a highlight reel. This is a horror movie. Like, I don't want this. Like, this is not good. Um, I'm very much of the opinion that in a game like Ashes of Creation, you want the time to kill to be longer because this is a game, and generally, hotkey MMOs are games based off of decision making, and I want my cumulative to good decisions to outweigh the cumulative errors of my opponents. I think that's how skill is determined in these games largely.
I've seen people say, and again, I really don't personally know how to feel about it because, again, I'm not coming from a PvP mindset, but talking to someone like you, like, where should TTK fall through? Like, if I'm going up against Zyback, a really good player, like, how fast should I die if, let's say, we were like all in rare gear, right? So, equivalency, we are both equal, but you're a really good player. How fast should I die? Like, people say like 10 to 15 seconds. Some PvPers say like 7 to 13 seconds. Some people even say 20 to 30 seconds. Like, I'm just really curious, like, and that's assuming I am standing still and you are just delivering it, kind of thing.
Like totally standing still. I, it's hard to say because there are variables, obviously. Um, but I would say probably closer to like 2.5, around the phase like where we were at in phase 2.5. I think is healthier than what we're at now. Um, now people can just sort of hit all their buttons and everybody's dead before there's even like a second cycle of cooldowns. Uh,
That's nuts.
so yeah, it's not great. There's not a lot of room for like, oh, somebody got the jump on me, but I made like superior decisions. It's very very quick in a lot of contexts. Um, so yeah, I would say probably closer to the like 15 to 20 seconds in a 1v1. I'm of the opinion that like the pacing of games, the pacing of PvP needs to be, the baseline should be set in small scale because that is where more players are going to be interacting with the game. A lot of the people that are giving, so basically it's one guild that thinks the TTK is fine, and they're doing it specifically from a group fight perspective, where it's
Right.
two spec groups of like with clerics and bards and reasonably even teams fighting each other, and that's just not the game. That's a very small segment of the game. Like
Right.
very rare. Like what 1% of like PvP is going to be that?
Right.
Maybe like 5%, right? But like most of the PvP players are getting into is like, man, this guy stole my rock. Fuck him. I'm gonna kill him. And if every instance of that is like just want somebody getting like three tapped, that's not great.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think ultimately, like, I think TTK is going to be really difficult for Intrepid to balance because not saying that they may have nailed it maybe in phase 2 or late 2.5, but I think with all of the additional systems that are still offline, like we have like ascendancy, we have jewel socketing, I think there's just gonna be a fundamental vertical problem that's gonna keep getting introduced. And I think until we have all of those systems present, right? Until set bonuses are actually squared away, until we're socketing, until we're enchanting, until we're ascending, until we're what's the other one called? Refining or whatever the other thing is. There's like so many different things to do that you can potentially do to your gear. It's kind of nuts, which I don't mind the complexity, but I think I'm kind of in your camp too. I would love it if it was just a little slower, but there's also like problems too with like, health was getting out of control. Originally it was like people were getting like 25 to 30,000 health.
Yeah,
And
they like 5x the amount of health, which
yeah,
is crazy. Yeah,
they did nerf it now. I
yeah,
was able to get anywhere between 8 to 10,000 depending on what I had. So that's better. But then there's like other issues too with like apparently ward and inner fire with going on to certain weapons, because apparently if you have those two things on, you're basically invincible. Like you're not going to die. And that's what we kind of learned in the whole, I don't know, did you see the 1v1 tournament
I
that happened?
did. Yeah, those skills are percentage based healing, and when you have like 50,000 health and it's doing a percentage based heal or percentage based temporary health,
Yeah.
they're extremely powerful.
Yeah.
They really overshot those health values,
Yeah.
and it was silly. It was
Yeah.
silly, and then they like completely went the other direction the next patch, and the way I see this whole situation is that the pendulum is swinging violently one way to the next, and I'm hoping that it's slowing down and we're gonna get,
in
in a
the
good
middle.
spot.
Well, because
Uh,
PvP lives and dies by that, right? Like if we like if PvP, if TTK or numbers or stats or these weapon passives like aren't fixed, then the PvPers suffer, right? Because PvP just isn't fun. You know, it's like you said, like when you were doing your montages, it was like a war show. Like this shouldn't be happening this quickly.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm nervous for PvP because I know that's a really big part of this game. And if it becomes sort of like the way phase 1 or even early phase 2, well, PvP is going to be pretty much dead up until we get it fixed. You know what I mean? And I know Intrepid already has a shit ton on their plate as far as like cranking stuff out until the 11th, as far as like fixing the anvils, still fixing economy, still fixing just shit in general, the summer class. Like it's just going to be another huge priority for them that they may not be able to get to.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard thing in MMOs in general. I mean, if you look at World of Warcraft PvP throughout the years, there have been eras of one-shotting people. Like this is a thing that this genre of games struggle with because itemization and combat feel is a constantly moving target when you're introducing new gear and new systems. So it is a
Yeah.
difficult problem. They do have the knobs to tune it. That's the thing that is I'm hopeful about. They have the DR capability to where like if people are getting too much power, they can turn that knob, put some DR on it. One thing they really could do at this point, if they're not going to touch the power levels for PvE reasons, is they could just give us a little more health. Like because right now the healers are healing crazy, like are healing really high percentages of your health bar, and the damage dealers are dealing really high percentages of your health bar. So if we just had more health and more buffer, it might be okay. Like just that one change, just to give a little bit of permanence to the health bar, to where it's like, oh, I'm at 50%. I'm going to act and operate differently now.
Right.
So, that it could really be as simple as that. But my thing with Ashes of Creation is that I really think if they're gonna err on one side, like you're gonna have to sort of compensate and split the difference with a lot of this stuff. I would rather them error on the side of maybe the TTK is a little too slow than it being too fast. Because if it's too fast and you have a bunch of new players trying to learn the game and they're just getting instantly destroyed by some giga sweats
Right.
before they can even comprehend what's happening, that's bad.
Well, we're not
At
even
least at least if the TTK is slow and they like get a few shots in and they get to experience the fun of the game before they lose, that's a lot more, like you're able to stomach that a lot more than
right.
just getting one shot by some decked out ranger or mage and just going, this is that's fucking stupid. Like what, I died in 3 seconds? Like what?
Well, and
That sucks if you're new.
we're not even talking about the variables too, like a new player being like level 16, which is like maybe in some whites, mostly greens, and maybe a rare or two, comparatively to like potentially a level 17 like you that has really fucking good gear, and like that variable you could technically like maybe 2 or 3 shot that person, you know what I mean, like with its current thing.
Yeah.
That to me is going to be very worrisome, right? Is like there's another thing I want to talk to you about, stats. And I've talked to the devs about this, and I really want to get your opinion. I feel there's way too many fucking stats in this game. And I'm not saying, or nor am I advocating to get rid of them. But what I believe is that as someone who, really wants it to be more new player friendly, I was thinking potentially having buckets. Like, so from levels 1 through 10, like all the novice gear has only these stats. And so a lot of the other stats are basically going to be pushed out into every other tier. So there's going to be maybe 2 more additional stats you'll get at apprentice, and then maybe another stat for journeyman, maybe 2 more stats for master, and then all the stats for grandmaster. So that way you can progressively learn all the stats, because we're bordering almost ARPG stats. There's like 17 different stats or like individual like things that can be on your gear. It's kind of nuts. And so I'm just curious from your perspective, like I know you're a veteran MMO player, but what do you think about potentially like only having, constitution, your 4 main stats like intelligence, strength, dexterity, whatever, and then going into like critical strike and, you know, like just like maybe a couple of stats for novice just to kind of get people understanding like the basic one first, and then it can go into like spell penetration or like physical penetration, like, right? So now we're adding more to the next bucket.
I think there's a few things they could probably clear up with like things can get a little weird with like power and like power rating. Like even I don't even
Yes,
like totally understand what the hell's going on there with that.
that's what I mean.
But I don't know. Part of me thinks that it's like there's a lot of like really simplified MMOs on the market right now that are like super like seamless to where maybe Ashes of Creation is just going to be that game where if you want to be like a Dungeons and Dragons stat sheet sweat lord, like you're going to have to sort of pick your poison. I do like that they added the little check mark to where you can see stats or you don't see stats that you have none of. I don't know if you know that option I'm talking about, or like
I don't.
oh, okay. So there is a way you can simplify your own stats. So when you pull up the character sheet and you open your stats up, if you don't have this box checked, you see literally every stat in the game. And it's like
Interesting.
like scrolling. It's crazy. There
Yeah,
are
it's
a
a
lot
lot.
of stats.
It's a lot.
But there's a little checkbox where you can be like, don't show me the ones that I don't have. And then it's like, okay, this is a bit more manageable.
Okay.
So
I gotta find that then because that's a really good box that I need to check.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything is like crazy overly complex. I'm not sure if that's true. I haven't done the crafting, so I don't know if the crafting stats, like if that segment of the game is unapproachable and just hard to understand. But I don't think there's anything that's like so crazy that people won't be able to eventually figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think an equal amount of players are going to see that the game has that much depth and be excited by it, as there would be people that see that and get scared by it.
Yeah, Mr. Noob
'Cause I
Tax
don't-
said it's show stats when 0.
Yeah.
That's what the bottom box is called. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like for me, that was another way too to potentially fix, you know, or help them balance TTK, right? Because if there's like all these stats present, then it's like, well, damn, like how do we, because then they can properly balance potentially like each bracket better if they knew, well, these stats are off the table for them at novice. So like we can balance in this kind of way. And then now in apprentice, now we added these 2 more stats. Now, okay, like we can, you know, do it differently, you know, for this particular tier. Like I was just, because I feel like if everything's present, then it's just going to be that much harder for them to technically balance, right? Because just so many moving parts there.
I will say, with my experience thus far in the game, it doesn't really seem like a lot of these other stats have really ever been the problem. It's almost always been like the obvious ones where it's like, oh, we've got way too much power. We're hitting really hard. Oh, we have way too much health. We never die because we have percentage based heat. Like the problems have always been obvious. It's never been like, oh, we have the necrotic damage multiplier interact. Like it doesn't seem like those like bonus stats have really become problematic. It seems like they're a very small part of the problem, and maybe they will be a problem at some point in the future. But there hasn't really been like I don't know if I'm saying the word like tertiary stat. Tertiary. I can't.
Tertiary.
That's a tough word for me.
Hey, I have a lot of tough words.
There hasn't been a stat like that that's been like super problematic. I know World of Warcraft has had its fair share with like, you know, Wrath of the Lich King haste with like mages doing like 0.7
armor pen
polymorphs and armor penetration. Yeah. That hasn't happened yet. It very well could in the future, but it seems like as of now, the primary problems have been like the obvious ones. So I'm willing to let them cook with their current paradigm of stats. And I personally like that there's a lot of, you know, crazy stats. I think that's just fun for like the role playing element of the MMORPG. So I'm willing to kind of just leave that where it's at.
Well, I kind of want to change the subject just a little bit, talking about your most recent video, because I watched it and I messaged you and I was like, bro, your video was fucking awesome. and it really made me open my eyes to potential things. That, a lot of the doomers, this was off of like the whole Kira video and people talking about like, oh, Ashes is just people in my chat the other day were calling it a rug pull or it's a scam. Like, so I don't know, because there's been a lot of new people like watching my content lately. I don't know, like, how would you say
you're doing good.
Thank
Way to go,
you, brother.
man. Oh yeah.
So how would you frame this for a new person like that potentially is coming in? Like, because I think a lot of new people, a lot of them in my chat that have been coming in have been very rational, very excited about the game. But like, for you and I that have been pretty much veterans, playing pretty much since pre-alpha 2, like, how do you feel the current state is going for the 11th? Should people purchase it? Is there anything to worry about in that regard as far as Intrepid, the company kind of thing?
So I think if you're a fan of, if you've ever been a fan of ArcAge or PvP games, New World, like, I think it's pretty obvious that you're going to get your money's worth. So I would say buy it. So one thing I will say, and this is like the optimistic take, right? Is that people have been dooming Ashes of Creation so long, and
Bro,
like people have been like saying it's like terrible, it's the worst thing ever, scam, that inevitably somebody's gonna try it and be like, they're gonna come into it like with low expectations, which is good. That's what you want. And so I think that we may see things may go better than me and you are thinking, just because the new players coming in are coming in expecting it to literally be a scam, and they're going to be like, wait, hang on, this combat is actually pretty fucking cool, and like, oh, this thing is actually pretty cool, like, for a scam game I sure am having a lot of fun, right? So I think I think all the doomium in a weird way could actually help them. In the silver lining is that, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think of games like the day before or the actual scams, the rug pulls, the things that happen, right? Like, and it's like, we've been here for a year still playing this game, still doing it. Like, where's the day before? Like, where's Chronicles of Valyria? Like, where's Perfect World? Like, where are all these other games? Oh yeah, I forgot, those were actual scams. They didn't last. Well, and
so, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So if you're making a scam game, you know what you don't do? You don't make the combat system. You don't make the movement control. You don't spend a bunch of time nailing the really, really hard things.
Right.
That's not what you do. What you do is you make a bunch of fancy art assets and sparkle ponies, and you make a bunch of fancy trailers and stuff like that. That's what you do if you make a scam game. You don't have like refined like animations and sound effects and like all this like little stuff that is really, really difficult to nail. So, and here's my example. Ashes of Creation could have the greatest like leveling experience ever. We have like voice acted quests and cinematics. We could have the greatest graphics on the market. We could have I don't know, all of the greatest RPG elements ever. But if the combat's shit, nobody cares. Like,
sure,
100%. But they got the combat right. Like, so that's kind of where, like, I think the game is in a better spot than people think, strictly because it feels good to move around the world. It feels good to play the game. The combat is satisfying. And it sounds like, wow, do you just want like a combat game? That's just the most important part. Star Wars: The Old Republic, they spent an unbelievable amount of money on that game. The leveling is fantastic. The story is fantastic. It's probably the greatest IP ever for making a video game. But anybody that's played it will tell you, like, it's like, this is like World of Warcraft, but why am I like slow? Like, why do I?
There's like a jank
I don't know what
to
it is, but like, why am I like dragging my feet? Like, I can't quantify why this doesn't feel as good.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's very difficult because it's a combination of like animation quality, sound effects, feedback. Like, there's lots of little subconscious things that they've really done to nail that in Ashes. Where it's like you play a fighter, and it's like you get that visceral feedback, and it's like, dude, it's so sick.
Love it.
The rogue just is a fucking flashy, awesome class. Summoners, like, they've really done a fantastic job with that. So,
well, and these are all the 1.0. Like, I can't even imagine the
right
further iterations. Like, that's gonna be crazy. Because no, I agree with you. Like, I think my scariest thing as a WoW player, I remember saying this before Alpha 2 was playable. I said, you know, in my chats and my live streams, I was like, if I go into Ashes, because I remember playing New World and just the controls and how you moved your character and played it just was so foreign to me as a WoW player. It really made me like, oh, I can't play this. And then when I played like Guild Wars 2, same thing. Like I was like, similar, but it's like there was just something about it that just didn't feel
Yeah,
like WoW. You know what I mean? The same thing. And when I went to Ashes, I was like, oh, thank fucking God. It feels like just the way I was hoping it would
yeah.
feel, you know?
And I would say, as something coming from somebody that's played a lot of World of Warcraft, I would say Ashes even has a little bit of an edge because they've got a little bit more. Obviously, it's been 30 years or whatever, right? They've got
Right.
a little bit of momentum in their system. Like they've got some stuff that WoW doesn't have,
Right. Sprinting, dodging,
where it's like,
blocking.
yeah, the sprinting, the dodging. It's like if you go back to WoW, you're like, wait, hang on, damn, I can't do that in this. So I don't know. I think that's such a big deal.
It
Like
is.
it really is.
Like
Like just the way the game feels.
I love the like as a fighter, whenever like there's a minotaur going to do like this heavy attack, I can just like backflip out. Like you can't
Yeah.
do that shit in WoW. You know what I mean? It's just like there's just so many really cool, like you said, like the real small things that add this like flair and flavor and things that aren't offered in other MMOs, or at least maybe the big ones, right? And so when I was watching your video, you know, there's a lot of stuff that Kira was talking about as far as like, you know, oh, you know, Steven's LLM, and then people saying like, oh, it's only going to Steam because, you know, Intrepid's out of money or whatever. And recently with Dusty's interviews, Dusty asked him, was like, hey, are we out of money, Steven? Like, are we okay financially? And Steven's like, we're good. And I just want you to explain the whole drop in the bucket thing from your video, because that whole, like I said, you're people. I'm gonna link Zyback's video probably before this streams out because y'all need to go fucking watch it. It's really good. But if you can just explain that whole drop in the bucket part as far as Steam goes.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's really just math. By the time Steam takes their cut and how much they're actually selling the game for, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like they'd have to sell way more
A
copies
shit
than
ton.
a shit ton, to where like we're talking many, like honestly probably a million plus for it to actually be like, wow, they actually really made some money off this. And even then, like this is not going to recoup their costs. What the best case scenario for them is if they get a whole bunch, like 100,000 new players that are invested in the game, because in the modern era, guys, like $15 a month doesn't cut it. Like they gotta
No.
have you invested in the game and like playing the game as a fan and like buying shit. Basically, they want you to actually be a player of the game. Like if you buy the game and don't play, like that's almost kind of a failure because they need you to like come back. The
Yeah.
best way I can describe it is like car dealerships, right? A lot of car dealerships don't actually, they lose money on selling you the car,
Yeah.
but they make money if you have a good experience and you come back and you get your oil changed there and you do business with them long term. And I think
Yeah.
that's where Ashes is. They're selling the game for what, $40, and then Steam takes their 30% cut, and
Yeah.
it's like really we're not really making a lot of money unless you stick around and pay the $15 a month and buy the whatever fashion show item on the store, right?
Yeah. I think I'm just afraid, because, you know, New World was just a box cost of $40 and their cosmetic cash shop, really. And no hate to New World, but man, their cosmetics were terrible.
Yeah,
Like
that's why the game shut. That's why the game shut down. Every time I asked
it's
somebody about New World, I said, "So did you spend any money on the game after you bought it?" No.
yeah, no.
That's why Amazon shut it down. It made no money.
Yeah. And I fear, because Steven has said this, he always says that they are going to prioritize the cosmetics in the game over what they sell. So which means there is going to be an inferior product being sold compared to the shit you can earn in game. And there will be some people that will not like that, because they, you know, again, we live in this very convenience generation. We have a very entitled generation that they feel like, well, if I'm spending money on it, it should be of quality. It should be better than what I find in the game. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to be a very hard sell, like to some people potentially.
I think it probably will be. I think the stuff they sell in the shop will probably be like the cooler version of like the dark robe versus the one that drops out in the world. From the way I understood it, the way it was explained was everything that you see that comes to the shop is going to be used to populate the world with like the
Right.
make the NPCs look cooler to that's sort of like how it makes sense for the world building aspect.
Yeah.
Um I have zero worries that they're gonna have a hard time selling like fashion shit. Like based off there's so many vectors they can monetize the game with. Like if they have a good game, I think they're gonna make money selling various cosmetics, animation, dance animations, whatever. Like the ship skins, mount skins. There's so many things they can sell. Um, so if they have a good game, I think naturally people will spend money on it.
Yeah.
If it's good.
So I wanted to talk to you about the future. Like, so we're going into the 11th. We're kind of hoping and praying that stuff is going to be in a state that at least isn't, buggy or fucked up, or, servers probably are going to be on fire probably on the 11th. That's kind of, especially if they keep it with just one server in NA and one server in EU. I hope they make multiple servers personally. But like, what are your like wants or hopes post the 11th? Like once we start getting in there, like what are you wanting from Intrepid, like long term, or maybe not so much long term, but semi long term? Like what are you looking for in quarter 1 or quarter 2? Changes for PvP, different content to experience in the world, etc., stuff like that.
I guess I don't really have like a specific like want list for like a feature. Like I know some people want like the castles where it's like out in like the islands where there's like going to be castles on islands that guilds fight over. And that's going to be like a 100 v100 or whatever it ends up being, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I'll definitely go do that stuff when it's available. My thing is I just want solid repeatable like PvP and game loops, right? Like if the Harbinger system comes out and that's like something that we're interacting with and there's like always a reason to go do a thing. I just want repeatable in-game loops that keep me always wanting to get in and play. I don't want it to be like I just want them to solve the problem of okay, I'm done. Which is what we've had throughout some of this game's life cycle, where it's like people get the things and then they're just like, okay, that's it. Like they gotta have like very evergreen, repeatable loops.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're getting closer to that.
Yeah. I see Sacred said, give me a $30 a month sub with 0 in-game cash shop. And
I personally would love that, but I don't think the market, you
I,
know.
I, I don't think that's realistic. I mean, if we're talking about if Intrepid was an established multi-billion-dollar company, absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But I feel like they are going to be probably trying to catch up, and they're going to be in the red for a couple of years. I'd say probably like 4 or 5 years. I mean, especially if they're going to go like beyond 100 million, which, Steven said that he pretty much will. Like he I don't know if he confirmed it in not Dusty's interview, but maybe the interview before that, he kind of mentioned or alluded to that. And I just think it's very unrealistic. And this is what I was telling Steven, like, I wouldn't even mind if they actually made it a box cost at launch, like pay, 30, $40 once, and that's it. Like, not, you don't pay for expansions, but just to play Ashes of Creation, you buy Ashes of Creation once as a box cost, and then you pay your sub. And there's a cash shop, of course. Like, because I want them to recoup that money, because again, startups have a very high failure rate, like just in general, like not even gaming startups, just startups in general. And I don't want Ashes to go the way of just, shutting down due to lack of funds. Like, and if we create a really fucking good product, that's going to break my heart. You know what I mean?
I think they're going to be pretty aggressive with that cash shop. I think people might be a little surprised how aggressive they're going to be. I think that some of the pricing on that stuff might be a little expensive. I think the demographics for this game are older, and I think that Ashes is going to probably price their stuff with that in mind. Um, I don't know. I think if the game, I think it's very unlikely that the game is good and they have a hard time monetizing it through cosmetics. I think that people are so hungry for this and they have so many good vectors for it. And based off of the artwork we've already seen with just like the non-paid like cosmetics, if they really say, all right, go crazy with this,
As
to
many
some
of
of
you
the
guys
artists, I don't know. I've seen a lot of cool stuff in the game thus far, and I think they'll be all right as long as they can
Yeah.
maintain them. an audience, a player base.
Yeah, no, I hope. I want to link Zybak's video that I keep mentioning in chat, and please go watch it if you haven't watched it. It's a great fucking video. But Zybak, dude, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, having a chat with me. I want to talk to chat if you want to stay, Zybak, for like
Yeah, dude,
5 or 10
I got
minutes.
nothing going on. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's Saturday night. I
So
got nothing going on.
we'll wrap it up, but of course,
Oh yeah, no,
you know,
if you got anything else you want to go with,
yeah. So again, if you want to go and watch Zybak, that's his YouTube channel right there. Go check his stuff out. He makes Ashes of Creation content and also just a plethora of other things. Like I remember when I talked to you last time, I forgot how you described your channel. Like when it comes to your content you make, because it's sometimes
no
very
strategy. There is no content strategy. There is no overarching plan. I literally just do whatever.
Yeah, you post whatever you want.
I have a video that's titled, this is like back in my like fatty days, and it's called like eating a cheeseburger, and it's literally just me eating a cheese. Like there is nothing else, and it's like, and like people watch the whole video and they're like, I thought there was gonna be something, and there wasn't. Like that's all there was, and I was like, yeah, because I just had some crackhead idea where I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be random. And
Dude, it's so funny how sometimes it's those fucking videos that go viral. Like I remember I saw a dude like in a Wendy's, just a normal dude, not even like Asmongold or anything like that, and it had 24 million views. And all he was doing was drinking a milkshake against a window, not talking.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's just like how the algorithm just picked that up and was like, everyone was just like, man, I need a milkshake. Right? The comments were fucking hilarious, dude. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for, coming on. We're gonna stick around for 5 to 10 minutes, but for my YouTube people, not the YouTube viewers right now, but just in general, when people watch this, like when we go offline. Of course, you can find Zybak on Zybak TV on YouTube. Is there any other socials? Do you already own X?
I think I'm Zybak on Zybak TV on Twitter. I'm Zybak TV on all the things. You'll find me. Zybak
right.
YouTube is the main one.
Yeah.
You want to do Twitch comments, YouTube comments? I see we've got some about RMT. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they tackle RMT long term with this game. What do you think they're
dude, that's a question I'm asking Steven. I mean, my chat knows all my questions, or not all of them, but one of my questions is really regarding like, RMT botting, just, because I even set this question on my interview with Steven one-on-one. But I want to see like what backend tools they've prepared. Like now that we're playing the game, it's been a year after, like, are there tools better in place? Are there things that they're actually starting to catch? Do I need to be investigator Steven and go to G2G and buy some gold, and I'll tag all the accounts and send them to you? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, I'll do it. Like, I just want to be able to, stop as much RMT as possible. You know what I mean? But it's crazy to me that even they've advertised this on G2G.com that there was over thousands of people who've bought in gold that did not get banned. That statement's no longer there anymore. If you go to G2G, that statement's gone. So clearly people got banned.
Okay.
But
that's good.
But there was for a while that, they were so proud that, hey, everything that we did, like, there's no ban. Come please buy our gold. And it ain't gonna stop. But I'm curious from your perspective, like what do you want them to do when it comes to like RMT, buyers and sellers?
Ban the buyers.
Yes.
Like you have to put the fear of God into the buyers, because even if you ban a small percentage of them, like you have to make an example out of the people that buy them. A lot of people don't understand how these RMT companies work. They don't care about buying the game because they use stolen credit cards. They buy it in regions where the game is super cheap. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing with Ashes. It seems like that's up in the air whether they're doing regionalized pricing or not. But they get the game basically for free or very cheaply. So banning the sellers, it is more difficult than it seems. But if you ban the buyers, then you starve the sellers out. So and also the sellers are, weirdly enough, if you don't ban the seller, then you just get to find the buyers more easily, because it's like, oh, this guy sells to him, and him, and just nuke, right?
No, for sure. I see they were talking about fixing drop rates. If they fix drop rates, it fixes a lot of the RMT issues. Well, they fixed drop rates. They made mobs now drop way more often. Like regular mobs, 2-star mobs, there's gear that's going to drop. Um,
Eh, I don't know if it really fixes. If gold is valuable, people are going to buy it.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, there was people
but
buying full sets on G2G because they not only sell gold there, but they sell full sets. And you can buy a full set of like, what was it, Bloom Warden for $400 or something stupid. It was like insane. And people were
that's
buying them
crazy.
because it shows you the orders of how many people, like how many orders they did for it. So it's just, again, I don't
Yeah,
understand the mentality of buying gold in an alpha, dude. I can imagine if it was a line, like a launched game, but to be competitive in a fucking alpha that could be wiped almost at any time is just, that's just fucking bizarre to me, dude. Um,
I mean, so the silver lining, right, is that all that means is that the demographic of players that play Ashes of Creation has a large amount of disposable income. So, like, yes, it sucks that we have these gold buyers, but it also means that we have a lot of people that are going to frivolously spend money on the game. You know that. So I don't know. There's, that's one, I guess, positive spin on it, maybe. Um,
yeah.
and
This is a,
also the demo for, I don't think Steven's gonna have any problem getting additional funding for this game just based off of the demographics of people that like play this game. I can't remember what they said do you remember the graphics card thing where they were having like stability issues
oh
with
yeah,
graphics cards, and
oh
they were
yeah.
like, actually, like 50% of our player base has like the most cutting edge graphics card, so we had to like change the way we optimize the game.
Mhm.
Um, so like the standard like median Ashes player, I feel like is significantly like, got more disposable income than other demos. I feel like
Yeah,
based off and you got people that have paid like an outrageous amount of money for these packages. Like, I think the hunger is there to go back around to the topic of the financial viability of the game.
yeah. I think, gear being so fucking rare from drops and then, the static, there were so many like big, small issues all combining together to make this huge hairball of just a clusterfuck basically, right? So we had like static rarity, which were people had all the points on the map of like where all the legendaries are, pinging them in Discord, having timers, so on and so forth. I am personally just so fucking glad that static rarity is dead because I think that's going to play a huge. Well, we're definitely going to
The-
see where that's going to go for phase 3 since we're in a complete not static rarity thing. But I also feel too they really need to make shit spawn in different areas because there are also like Weeping Willow and Braidwood that continue to spawn in the same exact spot. There isn't really a dynamic part with that yet. There is, of course, with like, Oak or with some of the other ones, but it really sucks that those specific ones, which are the main two, like at least for lumber that are really popular, don't have like those. It's not dynamic yet with that, which sucks. Uh,
yeah, luckily with the way Ashes is structured, I hope they lean into a way to somehow let the players like fight the bots in some way. I don't know how that would like what that would be, but I feel like in a PvX game where you have players like competing against bots, if there was some way that like the player could take an action against a bot, like subject them to like a captcha or something, like so like literally something like hilarious like that, where it's like, oh, this is like clearly a bot, and like I could fucking kill this bot right now and like take a shit and like mess up their operation. I don't know. I think they could do something. I know RuneScape has a really interesting RuneScape and WildStar has a really interesting captcha system. It's not what it actually is, but it's effectively what it is. Where in RuneScape you'll be like chopping a tree and the tree will come to life and start attacking you. In
well,
WildStar there was like you'd be mining a rock and then a fucking sandworm would come and eat you. And if
Jesus.
you're actually a real player, this is a good thing because you are sent into this event that, you go in there and, kill the sandworm and mine the rocks and you make, you get a whole bunch of resources. But if you're a bot, that's a pain in the ass because this is essentially an elaborate CAPTCHA anti-bot puzzle.
Right.
Um, so I think they can implement some stuff like that. There are some very bottable things in the game. Static rarity obviously was a very bot friendly mechanic.
100%. You couldn't find
Crates,
shit.
I don't think I even like crates existing. Honestly, I just, yeah. That's
Wow.
different. That's I don't love that. It seems like a very bottable thing.
It is. This
Maybe
is
I will think differently if corruption has changed, but it's that's really just asking for bots. Like I really
well,
can't think of a
this is what I told a couple of the devs when I spoke to them. I said, make caravans the gold thing, make crates the storage thing, or the thing to build settlements and buildings. Because it's going to be one of those things that is going to be such a bot friendly thing. Endless runs, consistent endless runs.
yeah, I ran into Chinese gold farmers that were running caravans by hand. They're not botting the caravans. Why? Because you don't want to bot the caravans. That's very
True.
risky to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But crates, you're not gonna really get killed running a crate. Like most of the time, you're not gonna get killed. So you could just have that thing running all night, and it's
Yeah.
simple.
Yep. It's one of those things that I feel like could, and I think it's something that maybe Intrepid wants to see, right? And I'm not really so bent out of shape with it because we're still in alpha, right? Like we're not in the launch game complaining about this thing yet. Yeah, right. So I feel let's experience it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how crazy RMT goes. Let's see how inflated the economy goes. Because I feel like the economy inflated drastically within week 1 to week 3.
Yeah, I mean there were some dupes, right? So that pretty much that nukes it
Yeah.
like pretty quick. When the RMTers get their hands on like some sort of weird handshake server conflict thing, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole industry that all they do is try to find exploits in games like this, so they're good at it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. So hopefully they can lock it down.
Yeah. I mean, my whole thing is I just want Steve because I feel like they've been very gracious in my opinion. Um, I I want because what you said I think is so right. Like I personally think you should ban the people that are red-handed caught like breaking TOS and ban them. But I feel like
For
Intrepid
sure.
wasn't banning them; they were just suspending them. You know what I mean? And I don't think that warrants a suspension. Like they knew what they were doing, right? You don't ever, oh, I'm exploiting or I'm duping. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just stumble on your lap, kind of thing. And I really get, and if it ever does, like on the one and off chance that it does, you're probably going to be like, oh shit, okay, let me report this. Let me talk about this in the Discord and be like, hey, I think I found something, kind of thing, right? But
Yeah.
this was clear intent. And if you have clear intent to break TOS to gain an advantage, I'm sorry, you should be banned. Like again, we're all adults here. Like I don't know why we're being treated like children. Where it's like, oh, let me just slap your wrist. Like I'm so sorry. It's like, bro, fucking ban them. Make them buy another account. Make them buy it for $50 or when it was $100 or whatever. But I don't. I guess I don't understand Intrepid's mentality there because most people that have that mentality to do it, chances are they're probably going to do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's definitely a few instances where like the same people have gotten suspended multiple times, and it's like, man, that's I don't know. I don't know if they should have been given a second and third chance. But I will say, a lot of these people have really burned their bridges, and if they mess up here in the future, especially now that we're on Steam with a larger player base, I think many of these people have wasted their strikes in
I hope
the
so.
previous phases.
Yeah.
Um,
The right way is to
so
ban IP ban so they can't buy another account that goes against Intrepid's interests. Yeah, I mean, my whole thing
I mean
is that
that's
I would
people
rather
are going to circumvent all that stuff, but
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there's people who bought a whole new computer because they were like IP banned from some game or whatever. Like, I mean, there's people that get desperate enough. Like, if they really love the game or if they're part of a community that really loves the game, they're gonna find a way to go around it. And again, that's not gonna be everybody, right? But um, I feel like there just isn't, and that's hard to do. Also, like IP
yeah,
banning
that
and
like
doing those, it's not easy.
the hard. I think they do hardware bans where they
Yeah,
ban like your processor and like your graphics card and shit.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, people are just going to circumvent that stuff. I'm sure there's a way to circumvent that. I mean, luckily, I will say with Ashes, like getting banned in Ashes of Creation is actually kind of a big deal. There were like these shitheads in WoW that would get banned, like the arena players would get banned. And it's really not that big of a deal if you get banned as a WoW arena player. You level up a new character on a new account. you get your gear back pretty quick because there's catch up mechanics, and you're back in business pretty quick. But in Ashes, like you get banned, like leveling up is tough. Like it takes a while. Getting gear takes a while. Like it's more of a long like marathon. So the ban does carry a bit more weight. Um, so I think that does sort of have that going for it. And also
Yeah.
it's a paid game too, right? It's not like a free to play game.
Yeah. And one of the people said VPN negates that. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go around certain things and finagle. He says, oh, they got banned every other week. They just have a backup account. And what's crazy enough, there's a lot of pre-order package people that I know that had a secondary account just in case, which is, I don't know, like just in case of what? Like, I don't know. That was always kind of a weird thing for me. What up, Chief? Hope you're doing well, man. Welcome, welcome. But let me see, characters mean nothing to them. They just don't have a main usually. PvPers are weird. I don't know. PvPers have mains.
I will say, so being a PvPer in Ashes is more of an investment than it is in most games. I feel
It
like
really
I'm
is.
not familiar with like the Korea,
Oh, neither am I.
slop grinder games,
Yeah.
but I am familiar with like the Western market MMOs, like like WoW, like Guild Wars 2. Like if you get banned in those, like you just don't care. Like it's so easy to spin up another one and get another one up and running. That like it really doesn't matter, right? But yeah, I think Ashes is a little different. It's a more of a it does sting more if you get banned, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, like what's your take with oh my god, don't derail. I had a whole point in my head. Don't lose it.
What's my take with we were talking about bans,
I know.
talking about
Shit.
yeah, I can see the chat. I was Vladis was reading. I didn't want to
No, I had a
PvPers
point
and
to say.
mains
No.
takes a long time to level up, spin up. Guild Wars 2,
I
WoW.
lost it.
Trying to
It's okay. I'm gonna get I'm gonna it's probably gonna
it'll
happen
come
at
back. It'll come back.
1 in the morning it'll happen. Like
I'm
that was a
mad.
fucking question. I'm gonna message them on Discord.
Oh, you're good.
Let me see. I feel like with the whole banning and I think you are right, and I've said this many times. You got to scare the shit out of buyers, but I think the reason why they may be like light-handed is because they want people to test their game. But how crazy would it be if like all those people that gave them so many issues during the alpha, as soon as the live game happened, are like, oh, your account's banned. Bye. You know what I mean? Like that would be so funny.
I think one thing that is unfortunate for them is that they are having to enforce the rules in a genre where the rules haven't been enforced in decades.
Mhm.
So it is hard to ban it's harder to ban the buyers when nobody else does.
Right.
Like World of Warcraft, like you buy gold and WoW, you get caught, like they like don't even punish you. They just take the gold away sometimes. Like these other games, like Aeon 2, I think they encourage you to buy the gold. Um, these other games have no penalties. So to play devil's advocate, I think maybe showing some degree of leniency, obviously being ruthless with the punishment and removing everything and whatever, right? But there are going to be people that come to Ashes from literally any other MMO where they just get away with it. So it's like, do you immediately death sentence? Like, is it an immediate death sentence, or do we let them, redeem themselves?
Mhm.
So, like, just to play devil's advocate, right? Because
You
we
know what?
have, we're coming from an environment where it's just like that nobody, like everyone, like no MMO has fucking integrity anymore.
It'd be funny if there was a leniency, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're going to de-level you to level 1. So imagine
Yeah,
being max level.
Reset them. Fuck
like
yeah.
everyone's level 50. You're level 1 now, and you can't trade, nor can you use anything like the freaking market. You can't buy anything from the market. Your character just is not going to be able to. So you literally have to just play the game, and no one can give you gold. No one can trade you anything. No one can give you anything. And you have to level from 1 to 50 like that. Like that to me would be a pretty good punishment in a game, because it's like, fuck, okay, like I have to do everything the grindy hard way. You know what I mean? So it kind of like makes you hopefully think. Like that would be fine with something like that. And then like the second thing just being like, all right, you're just gone now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fuck it.
I think I'd be okay with a reset for a first defense. Like you buy gold, they catch you, and you literally get everything you have, all your characters fucking deleted, gone, and then you
All
get
your
an
characters.
email. Yeah, no, I'm saying full fucking like if they catch you red-handed like you bought it,
uh,
um, and they literally say, "Hey, we know what you did.
yeah.
We're not gonna ban you, but we have to punish you. Don't do it again. This is
Right.
your warning." Because I feel like if you do anything less than that, like people are just not like you're just like all of a sudden not enforcing the rules now.
And I think
But
honestly
I but
too.
I, and
Oh,
I think and you are giving leniency too to the people that are coming from literally like what MMO even enforces the rules anymore? It's fucking crazy.
yeah. No, it's true. I mean, and I think honestly, there's so many people that aren't like malicious, but they're just like, especially when gold is like hard to obtain or it's like a nuisance because it was in Ashes prior. And I honestly see people that were playing this game that could like, I have $5 or $10, like I can get like 50 gold, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get me by. Like I can
Yeah.
see that, you know what I mean? And so,
Well, and then you have other games that literally sell it themselves. Like World of Warcraft sells gold through
yeah, the
the
tokens.
WoW token. Yeah, like
So
it's so fucking mask off and it normalizes it all. So, maybe people shouldn't be executed first offense. But I do think the penalty should be harsh. And I
yeah,
think maybe like how like there's loading screen tooltips? Go ahead and put that on some loading screens. Hey, we will actually punish you if you buy gold. Like
yeah,
let it be known. Like
yeah.
advertise it.
Yeah, I think
Cuz
that would be
yeah.
awesome personally because there hasn't been a lot of MMOs that do that because of course they encourage you to play. They want you to pay them the money because by banning you that means we don't have your $15 a month anymore. So I don't know. It's gonna be a hard thing for Intrepid to like hopefully make the tools, but I really hope the tools have come a
Yeah.
pretty good way since phase one. But it also too didn't Steven say like whenever that massive ban happened, and there were the guilds and like all the offenses happened that they said that they're going to be reporting like each month. I remember Steven said we're going to report to you the accounts that have been actioned, with
Yeah,
like
that's
their
one of
last
the like
name or
I'll believe
whatever.
it. I'll believe it when I see it kind of things. Go ahead and add that one to the wiki too, right? Right next to the stock market. Um
And
no,
combat
I
pets.
don't like I don't know. There were a lot of people that got popped in that.
There
I
was a
know
lot of
for
people that got
sure.
it. Yeah.
Like there were a lot of people that suspiciously took a break right when that happened. So
Yeah, guys, I'm
uh
taking a break.
I I do think that, there's a lot of people that are coming in to this, Steam release with 3 strikes. Like they're gonna have to be careful what they swing at now, I feel like. So um yeah.
I was gonna say too, like what is your optimistic number for people playing on Steam, and what's your like pessimistic side tell you?
Like total concurrency or like
Uh,
jumping in to check it out.
Probably jumping in and check it out. One of that one.
Uh Man, how many copies have they already sold?
Well,
Do you
they already
know?
have over 120,000 people, from what Steven told us last time, as far as like key holders,
People that have
and pre-order
okay.
packs and everything like that. So, and then he says they've got 2,000 wish lists or 200,000 wish lists for Steam.
Um yeah, I mean I would not so like there's gonna be a lot of people that have bought it that are not gonna play it until it comes out.
Very true.
There are a lot of MMO gamers that do not want to play the game if it's gonna get wiped. Like that's a big aversion that many players have. A lot of the more competitively minded players like myself, and honestly, most of you guys watching right now, you're watching a podcast about a beta video game or alpha video game. You're the type of player that gets invested in the game because you know that knowledge will carry forward. And you're just more competitive by nature. But there's a lot of people that are that play these games for the ride. So there's going to be a lot of people that have it that don't play it. So I would say, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if 100,000 people jump in and check it out. But that doesn't mean 100,000 concurrent players. That means like 100,000 uniques, where it's like they jump in, they're like, oh, okay, I'll come back later. Like that's how a lot of people interact with these games when there's still wipes coming up.
Yeah.
But in terms of like concurrent, I don't know, 15,000, 20,000. That wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if they crack that. I don't know.
I, I personally, I don't know. I remember there was a couple of people, a couple of videos. I'm trying to remember the specific people, but I can't. That talk about concurrency, and there's even like some of the doomers out there that are like, "Oh, Ashes is going to die within a month and stuff." And I've made this example before, but when a game is actively testing the way Ashes of Creation is, there doesn't tend to be a lot of concurrency there. Why? Because many gamers don't like testing. They want to play a fucking game. They don't want to test the game. We're not used to testing a game as a gaming community. And this is why a lot of the time these companies have closed alphas and betas, because even the companies know that. So Ashes is in a very unique situation. And we are also too, as a gaming community, in this unique situation, because everybody keeps referring to Ashes as a game, which it is. It is definitely a game, but it does not really play like an MMORPG yet. Can you do certain loops? Absolutely. Are some of these loops good? Ask a certain player, maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, it's conjecture, right? But I honestly feel like Ashes is going to be a mixed game regardless. Like I don't
Yeah,
think
100%.
I don't think it's ever, like, even like I said, with all systems present, all of it's fleshed out, it's beautiful, it's glorious. I don't think Ashes on Steam will ever be an overwhelmingly positive game. We'd be lucky to even be positive. But I think more realistically, will either be mixed or even negative in Steam. Because again, it's a lot of people don't like PvP MMOs, and that's what Ashes is labeled as, not here in the Ashes community, but if you ask any other community, our MMORPG on Reddit, or any of the other
They hate
game.
everything though.
Yeah, I
To
know.
be
I know
fair,
they do. But it's like everybody considers Ashes to be a PvP game. So you say, oh, it's a PvP MMO. They're like, all right, I'm out. Like, that's all you needed to tell me. And then I don't need to play it anymore. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of what it is. And what I hope happens is over time that people watch another YouTube video from maybe one of their favorite content creators, or maybe from a content creator they never heard of, because what they're hearing in the sphere, even within their small community of their own game, that, oh man, this Ashes of Creation game is actually really fucking fun. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh,
yeah,
isn't that PvP MMO? And then hopefully someone can then educate them. It's like, well, yeah, it has PvP, but like you can still PvE, like it's not like it's all like a gank box kind of thing, right? So I'm really, really hoping that starts like
yeah,
that trickle of like, where
yeah.
instead of you have the concurrency of going down all the time, like we can actually have it going like a wave potentially, right? So
Yeah, I mean, the silver lining is that a lot of new people jumping into it are going to be coming into it with the low expectations of like people telling them it's a scam game, and they're going to get in and play it and be like, okay, I'm kind of having a lot of fun in this scam game.
right,
Um, so I think that is a silver lining, but I do think that, to your previous point, that you're correct in that even if the game was executed 30% better than it's currently being executed across the board, it's still going to be mixed because the design of the game is intentionally abrasive.
it is.
Steven uses the phrase, friction, player friction. It's designed to get that reaction out of you. It's designed to sort of like have moments where it's like some guy, I had a fucking fish on my back, and then these two dickheads can't. Like it's literally like that's the point, is
Yeah,
that it's supposed to have that. And I'm not a big believer in reviews mattering a ton.
they
You
don't,
have a game like Overwatch
to an
2 that's
extent.
like mostly negative, when it's like this is obviously like it's obviously a high quality product, but people bomb the fucking reviews because they don't like whatever XYZ change. And then you have other instances where it's like a game comes out and it's actually bad, like a No Man's Sky. But if it turns out to like get better and get good, now No Man's Sky is like this championed like messiah now. It's like, I don't know. If the game is good, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I tell
So
people with New World, like New World was literally getting review bombed. Again, even before it launched, there was negative video after negative video with, the beta, because the beta there was no NDA. Like you can stream it, you can play it, do whatever you want. And it's just so many people just saying like, wow, this game is terrible. This game is rough. There's so many bugs. Like I remember watching, what was it? Stoops or Cannon or one of them when they were playing New World initially back then, and the character was just skiing because like the running animation was jank or whatever, and then the whole swimming meme, right? Like, oh, you're just gonna Jason Voorhees your way down to the water and stuff. And then there, of course, there was like the invincibility thing. There was like all this other the
Drag your
boar.
window around, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
The market being down for 3 months straight.
yeah. I
Like,
mean,
holy
the
fuck.
economy was fucked
Oh my
entirely.
god, dude.
But and again, like even with all the negative press coverage, it still hit what was it 960 concurrency at its peak, and it
Yeah,
had millions of players
MMOs
buy
just
it.
have that draw. Like it truly is a unique genre in that like people from all, especially New World. If you, I don't know if you remember when New World came out, but like the New World Twitch section was full of like not just MMO gamers, but it's like, okay, Shroud is playing this. Okay, this like IRL streamer person is playing this. This
Sven wants to
React
play.
streamer, yeah, like people like so like I, there could be a world, and I think this is unlikely, but there could be a world where like Ashes crosses that like threshold and like could actually blow up temporarily, you know. And I don't think I think they'd have to probably solve some of their in-game loops, like repeatable in-game loops to like maintain that. But like I think that something could happen where a big streamer like checks it out and has more fun than they were expecting.
Yeah,
And
I
I know Pyro Software apparently is coming back. That was the word on the street. So yeah, he'll move some copies. He's
yeah.
still somewhat popular, right?
I feel like this game is going to be insanely popular overseas. Like I said, Lineage 2 had like millions of people playing that game. Arcade, very popular in Korea, very popular in other countries. I think a lot of the PvP MMOs are just very popular elsewhere, except
Well, I
here in the
know
States.
the South America, like there's a lot
Oh,
of South
Brazil,
Americans that yeah, they love the shit. Like there was like I don't know the
100%.
guy's name,
Oh,
but on
Lineker,
Twitch, no, there's it's I think he's in that guild. He's
Nova
in
Ordem.
Nova, but some like uh Spanish streamer. I don't know who it is. Some South American guy. I don't know. Streams Ashes every now and then, and like there's a bunch of people watching. Like he'll have like 280 people watching, and
Main
obviously
Quest,
I don't know what he's saying, but
right?
like his chat is like all about it. And when in those phases where those guilds were active, like it's like the Dothraki, man. They're just there's a shitload of them. So there's a hunger there.
Yeah, I personally think that when Ashes launches, we probably will get to that million player concurrency. We'll see that on Twitch, but I truly hope that even if we can have like 300 to 500,000 people playing like worldwide, I think that would be a really, in my opinion, a pretty huge success to have concurrently. Because I think of other games, like I think BDO is on Steam, but it also has its own launcher, right? So it's like separate. And BDO kind of hovers around that 500,000 to 700,000 playing. And I feel like, you know, for a startup company to have that kind of concurrency, like I think if we dip below like the 100K mark, that's going to be very worrisome because we really need this game to have that longevity. And I hope that even if we do get there, like with cosmetics, and if people are buying cosmetics, because cosmetics help out a shit ton. I mean, hell, like what was it, that one mount in WoW that made more money than StarCraft 2 or
Yeah,
something crazy like
the
that?
Spectral Steed.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Spectral Steed. So, you know, cosmetics definitely help, but I also feel
yeah.
like too, people don't want to play a dying MMO. You know, this is why people hindered going to New World, because they were just saying, "Oh, it has a 2,000 player concurrency. I don't want to go and play that game." You know?
Yeah, I do think that if Ashes does have like a solid fan base, I think they're going to be able to monetize their players probably a little better than these other games do. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. I think one thing Ashes does have going for it is it's like it's on the edge where it's like a lot of major like streamers and YouTubers, they're not invested in it. Like it's definitely not their priority to cover the game and talk about the game. But every now and then you'll see them talk about it. Like you'll hear, Summit 1G was watching one of my PvP videos, and he's like, I don't know, I kind of like what I'm seeing here, and it's like right there to where it could go over the edge and like get some serious attention. And Lazy Peon will make a video every now and then, and it gets a lot of traction. Asmongold will talk about it every now and then, and it gets a lot of attention. So like it's close in terms of like the cult like relevancy, right?
Right.
But it's and I think that right now that's probably for the best. I think it's probably for the best that, we don't have Asmongold and I don't know who the big MMO streamers are that like are really pushing the game out to the forefront. I think,
Right.
you know,
Well,
but I even saw Defran, an Overwatch guy, like a pro Overwatch player, play was like I saw like a Twitch VOD of him like 9 days ago, like doing some Ashes shit. Like what? Like I think he was watching like a video. But like so like
wow.
there is a little bit of interest, but it's not over that tipping point yet.
So let me see. Vampy on YouTube was saying expecting the game to have 300K is kind of insanely optimistic. I think you'll be looking at 50K if that. I personally don't.
Are we talking
I
about sales or are we talking about like
no
people look
play
at Steam?
concurrency.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know. Player
I'm
concurrency is kind of weird.
I'm talking more launch. I'm not talking for the 11th. I'm talking more for launch because again, when the game officially launches, MMO launches are always a really really huge deal.
Yeah, they're
and
crazy.
and I think you're underestimating the other countries. We could hit 500,000K concurrency just in Korea. There were literal millions of people that played like a lot of the initial MMOs in other countries. And I don't know if those other countries use Steam. Like if Steam's the only option in the States, I don't know if they have like a different thing or whatever, like a different metric to go into. Like I don't know. Like if you're in another country and you use Steam, please let me know. Um, but yeah, like it's, the Ashes looks, it almost has like a wolves and sheep's clothing kind of thing because it really looks like a Korean MMO, like in the sense of like the PvP style, like an Arcade or whatever. It may not have like the graphics or whatever, but all of the things that Koreans and those people that love PvP games, like this is why Zybak's here because Zybak loves PvP. And I think that demographic is probably going to be captured here. And if it does, bro, like that's going to be huge, super huge.
Yeah, MMOs really do have like everybody wants to be part of the launch,
True.
even if they don't like the game. So I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember a game called Bless Online.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knew it was dog shit. Like it wasn't a surprise. Nobody bought Bless Online and was like, man, I can't believe it was bad. But a lot of people bought it just to be a part of the launch. Like there is some like social phenomenon where it's just kind of cool to be doing a thing and there's like a lot of other people doing it with you, even if it's terrible. Like Bless on like Aeon 2. Like, come on. Like, is anybody surprised the game is bad and pay to win Korean garbage? Like, no, it's exactly what they thought it was going to be. But a lot of people still jumped in and had fun to their credit. But now it's over, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. Yeah, the MMO genre truly is like a spectacle in that regard. Whereas you don't really see that with like FPS games in the same way. You have the big hitters like, Battlefield 6 or whatever, but like a new FPS game like Splitgate 2 comes out, like there's not that same rush to like go check it out even if you're not going to stay around for a long time. But in terms of like concurrency day 1, I think they're targeting no more than 30,000. And the reason I say that is cuz there's 2 servers and their peak concurrency that they've ever hit was 15,000 on a server.
Right.
So that would lead me to believe that they are not expecting long-term concurrency to be above 30K.
I think in testing, I 100% see that. And again, I don't want people to like concurrency doesn't matter to me in a test. It does not matter. I don't care if it go down 2,000, 3,000 players, right? Because you don't want to burn out these people so early. So concurrency to me means nothing. Like again, I showed people Baldur's Gate 3 when it went into early access for 3 years. It literally had a concurrency of 2,000 to 3,000 players per month. And look how much of a success Baldur's Gate was, right? So I don't want people to get concurrency and having concurrency be such a huge thing. But I want to say, Dom says, I feel like Ashes is going to pop off. I think it will, man. I think it will because of, again, negativity sells. And there are going to be people that are going to be like, it can't be that bad. That's what I truly feel. There's going to be people that are just going to want to play it out of sheer wild hair to just, let me try it out. Let me see for myself. And
I mean, like I was saying earlier, people have openly play games they know are bad. Like, they know they're bad.
But they could be shocked, right? They could be surprised. They could be like, holy shit, this game actually is pretty damn good.
I would say, actually, like long term for the health of the game, I would rather have somebody come into Ashes of Creation, um, thinking the game is a fucking scam and play it, rather than them thinking it's the second coming of Christ. Because if they come in thinking it's the second coming, they will be disappointed.
True.
Now, there is some advantages to being a hyped, like selling JPEGs of spaceships. You know, you can get $1 billion in funding, sure. There is some merit to that. But like long term, I think it's better to have people's expectations be a little lower coming into it.
No,
Which
for sure.
in a way could, you know, they might not sell as many copies initially. That sucks. And it does suck to see the game getting dragged for you know, there are plenty of things to drag the game for. Trust me. But
So
some of them I think are very unfair.
Ember said the issue of Ashes isn't capturing the demographic of C players, the appearance slash model slash pay model. None of it is what Asian players want, excluding Australians. Well, I feel like with the graphic, especially with the character models definitely need work, right? They will be worked on. There will be more iteration on that. Now, as far as like, I've heard mixed things personally. I don't live in Korea. I don't, but I do have some people that live there. And there are Koreans that are used to, like, they're almost indoctrinated with the entire like Eastern MMO slop that Zybeck was talking about, right? They're used to it. There's some people that have told me that there's a large portion of them that don't like it. They do it because they're almost like institutionalized. But there are people that respect the grind in the sense of earning it and not just paying for it. So yeah. I feel like, just like anything else, I think there could be Koreans that may get turned off because they can't pay their way to victory. But there will be some that definitely like, oh shit, I don't have to spend my money on this game, and it gives me the same thrill that these other PvP MMOs do. You know what I mean? And that's what my hope is.
Let me see if WoW in its heyday had a ton of Korean players. Like there were tons of the arena guys, were Korean. So I think if the game is good, people will find a way to play it. Like it, yeah.
So let me see. Marithus said if they can't, hold on, if they haven't fixed the nonstop ongoing economy issues, the population will die within a few weeks, as it have every phase. Well, again, you have to understand, right? Like, an alpha is going to have issues, right? And the whole point of a test is to find those things and to identify them and then fix them. You know what I mean? So us as players, like, we're used to the constant back and forth of like the ping pong, like Zabak was talking about the pendulum. Like, we're pretty much used to the whole like, oh, a system feels good, now it's back to being sucky because this other thing happened, these other elements got added, right? And that kind of swings the pendulum back. And then also feedback in general, right? So yeah. I just want them to continue to refine, let's find these things, let's find these bugs, and we're all working towards the launch. We're not working to sustain people constantly playing within this test. We are working towards getting shit prepared for the launch of Ashes. This is why many players can't be testers. You know what I mean? Because they just don't have that mentality, because they're trying to treat this as a game, as something seasonal or something that can keep them logging in every single day. That's just not the reality, though. Let me see. Can you play your normal account through Steam?
I was gonna add on to that. The big thing, yeah. So, like, obviously, it would suck if there was like a dupe early on. Like, that's like
no, for sure.
The nightmare scenario is dupe. But I will say they just recently had a new tool come online on the back end. The blacklist. Are you familiar with this?
Yep. Dusty Stream talked about it.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that are unaware, Ashes now has the capability to shut items off, like shut items for
recipes
recipes. They have the ability to essentially turn things off without in real time, bringing the server down for a maintenance or a patch. And then they also are not afraid to, which I know people don't like rollbacks. People don't like that, but I am somebody that is pro rollback if it's
massive
like
enough.
If it's an econ kind of thing. The big thing, guys, is that like the fucked up shit is going to happen. It's just, do they have the capability to handle it? Even established games like MMO market leaders like World of Warcraft, like MMORPG inventory is incredibly difficult. That's why all of these games have problems with dupes and exploits like this. That's why people are able to find these Ashes of Creation dupes so quickly. It's because there's a lot of like crossover in these, like, just the way these systems are built. It's just difficult. So that's my thing that makes me a little optimistic, is that I have seen them create tools and knobs to adjust things to
Thank you,
where when
Simon.
they inevitably do get messed up, they can change them. Like the time to kill. I'm a little pessimistic that that's going to be correct going into this, but I do see that they have a DR curve for power that they can turn on. They can tweak. They have a thing they can turn the knob on to adjust that. I've seen them go and change the itemization for things. You know, they can just add some base health on all the shit, right? So I don't know. It's how they deal with it, really.
Yeah. I see Unmatched said, can you play your normal account through Steam? Yes. On the 11th, you'll be able to play. If you have a current Ashes of Creation account now, you can go to your account on the website, log in, go to your settings, your account manager, and I think it's on settings. You can link your Discord, and you also have the capability to link your Steam account through the website too, today, right now. So
Yep.
if you haven't done those two things, do it. That way you're ahead of the curve. You don't have to worry about it on the 11th or whatever. But yes,
Yeah,
you'll be able to play on the 11th.
go ahead and do that, because you don't want to be doing that and have that webpage go down. Because
Especially on the 11th.
that did happen when they first announced it on the live stream. So like, go ahead and link that up. And it's nice to see Ashes of Creation in your Steam library. It's like, oh shit, here we are,
Yeah.
right?
Well, so there's a person, I want you to answer this, Cyback. If you can summarize the gameplay loop of Ashes of Creation, it's a brand new person for my chat, so it's probably a brand new person interested in the game. How would you describe the gameplay loop of Ashes of Creation currently?
Oh man, I guess that sort of depends on the kind of player you are. I guess this is kind of the benefit of the game, is that there are some people, like there were multiple people that I know of that got to level 25 and did very little like PvE mob grinding, because they just did like processing and harvesting and crafting. Um, so I'm gonna answer this from my perspective. So for me, right? I guess he's asking about the gameplay loop, like in
Yeah,
game, or like, oh,
just the gameplay loop
it,
in general, like as you're leveling, end
as I'm
game. Yeah.
leveling. So I guess for me, I'm probably gonna focus on getting to level 25. I think I am gonna mess around with the fishing off the start a bit more. I'm probably gonna focus on getting to 25. With
The
probably
boys.
yeah, but the boys, yeah, the guild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably check out the fishing. I think I'm probably gonna get into the sports fishing, and then I'd say at that point there will probably be some sort of like guild agenda where it's like, all right, we're getting the crafters up to speed. What do they need? And that's probably what I think will happen. Is we'll be farming drops while trying to get our crafters up to speed. I think will be the initial loop for players like me.
Yeah, I
And
think
obviously getting into PvP scraps and trouble.
there's the way you framed your question is like, what are the loops? And I feel like there's many different loops you can do. Like for me, like as a PvE player, I absolutely love the gathering, processing, and crafting loop. And this is coming from someone who played World of Warcraft who never even gave a shit about professions. Like this game literally converted me to really dig the professions. And so that is a really cool loop that you can do. The other loops you can do is like Zabik was saying, there, is lawless territory. So if you're a big PvPer, there's lawless territories where you can go into, you're flagged as, you're flagged for PvP, and anyone there is free game. There's also small POIs. They're like little PvE grind spots. And sometimes people flag up there because, hey, we're trying to kill, this is our spot kind of thing, and then they flag up, try to kill another group or whatever. That's also like a little bit of a loop too, with like a mixture of like wherever you're going for your PvE grind. There's actually a golden path now as far as quests, from 1 to 10. That's actually way more fleshed out than it's ever has been. So yeah, I would say that's probably loops. If you don't talk about, let's say, crates, that's a loop that you can do too if you love crate runs. There's caravan runs. There's I'd say that's pretty much it. Is there anything I missed, Cyback, as far as like what other
Yeah.
loops you can do? Like,
I will say I have liked what I've seen thus far with Ashes in that people have been able to define like their niches. Like so in phase 2, I was the hippo guy. Like I was in the desert, like doing the desert bandit thing, just getting like controlling the hippos because there was essentially a pond, and the only places that these hippos would spawn was in this desert pond. So like I I was the hippo guy. And and it was a lawless area, right? So um and you see I've noticed that players are starting to like niche down in a way that I think is really interesting, where people sort of like I know this doesn't answer your question in the way you probably like, but like you really can sort of do your own thing and make your own way. Inevitably, you're going to have to find some sort of way to make gold, and some people do it in pretty novel ways. So it'll be cool to see the fishing come online, and I've seen people. It, they play the game like there was a guy in my guild that's an econ guy that had multiple like he's complaining about the gold cap being too low. It's just like he's like, yeah, I don't have any more characters to
I
put the gold on. I was
wanted to
like,
ask, I wanted to ask
that's
this question,
crazy.
Cyback, because you're a PvPer, and he says, "Is lawless a loop though? It's only a loop if it adds value." In your opinion, would being having fun a value to you? Because I mean, if you love
Well,
PvP, like,
so that's a great question. So you know how I was
mm-hmm,
talking about like the PvP loop, or talking about PvP incentives that are evergreen, right? Like those things that you're always chasing, like the lawless trope. Like he's
right,
got a good point in that. Like, are we just PvPing like to do it? Like there does have to be incentive. Otherwise, because like that was like the really bad faith argument people would make, like when they removed the lawless June Dark and they removed all the like PvP incentive structures in phase towards the end of phase 2.5 when they did that really bad patch. They'd be like, well, why don't you just go out in the ocean in PvP? If everybody wants to PvP so bad, why don't they go out in the ocean? Well, it's like nobody's out in the ocean because there's nothing there. Like, what, are we just gonna go fight in the water? Like what? Um, so yeah, no, I mean that is valid in that there does have to be, uh, in my opinion, exclusive items, exclusive things that you can only get in the PvP areas. I don't think it's enough to just have it be a little bit faster to get glint in P. I think it has to be exclusive. I think there needs to be the Lawless June Dark was so popular because those bosses dropped exclusive items that you could only get there.
right.
Um, so yeah, stuff like that for sure.
And there's also like fishing too. Like I said, professions in general isn't it's like I would try it, dude. Again, I was never a profession person. Ash has made me a profession person because I think the loop is very satisfying. And this is also very early too. There's gonna be so much improvement, so much shit. Zyba, did you know that we can actually finally send shit to the warehouse from the processing station that just got added today?
Oh, you know what I want?
Yeah.
You know what I want? I don't know
What?
if we can afford it. I want to be able to send items to my other characters.
Bro, I think there
That's
should
all
be a
I just want to.
dude.
I,
I,
yeah.
I think there should be a tab in your inventory thing that says like it should be like an account tab that if you click on that you can put anything like in there to give to your other alts.
Yeah, dude,
That would be
that is
so
so
good.
brutal. Where you have to be like, get somebody. Hey man, can you help me get my gear over to my rogue?
Can you?
Like,
I'm gonna give you
oh my
my gear and
god,
you trade it to me when I log into my alt. Yeah, I know it's so stupid. And again, this are all the like this. Again, I love how much time we have because even if Steven says beta by the end of next year, like we can have beta, you know, maybe for 4 months after that. So there's still so much. And think about all the shit we've improved from phase 1 of fucking now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think
Like
the
it's wild.
velocity. I think the velocity is only going to increase
Oh
as
yeah.
they finalize a lot of these systems. Um, yeah, like they've probably got a lot of stuff cooked. Like, cause think about the onslaught of stuff we've gotten in the last like week from this up. Like, I don't know about you, but like in preparation for this like podcast that we're doing here, I had to like watch all the streams. Like, there's been a lot of like Ashes related streams. There was like the
Right.
multiple interviews. There was the 2 hour
Yeah. It
dev
was a lot.
thing. Like, there was a lot of stuff. So I was kind of scrambling to like get it all in. But like, I think that we're gonna see a lot of this stuff finally come online, which is good. You know, now that they're hopefully done doing a lot of the hard stuff. The big thing is like, does the dynamic gridding like work, right? Like,
Yeah.
does it work?
Yeah. Well, Simon, I will tell you this, brother. Like if you're still unsure, you know, come on, watch me, you know, on stream, watch other content creators in the Ashes space, watch Sabek's videos. Like you don't have to jump in on the 11th, right? Like, just keep looking and keep seeing like, wow, this is really, really good. Now it will be on sale from the 11th to the 25th. It'll be $44.99 on Steam. And then after that, it'll be $50. But, you know, I would say there really isn't a rush, you know, but just know that this is very much a completely different animal than, let's say, the beta of New World or any kind of an early access experience you may have had with other games. This is very much different than that. So I'm really trying to set that
Yeah.
expectation for you.
I guess
to
what
lower
like,
it.
what is he looking for, right? Like,
Right.
is he a
Like,
PvP oriented player? Like, is he like, if you're somebody that is coming to Ashes and you love World of Warcraft Mythic Plus, like,
yeah,
you're not gonna be thrilled by the offerings. But
right.
if you're somebody that's like, oh man, I used to love doing world PvP in this game. Like, if you're somebody like that, or if you're like somebody that's like a an industry tycoon, like there are some people that just like to go and play these games and make gold. Like
Yep.
they don't even spend the gold. They just like to see the number go up. If you're one of those types, if you're like a profession marketeer type, I think you'll see a lot of enjoyment out of this game. Uh, I even think like sort of like uh, the more social like people. I think Ashes is a very social MMO as well. I think there's a lot of fun there. I think a lot of people, as much as they don't like to pretend they don't, they like the drama. They like the petty fucking quarrelings of the ego guilds, and they just like to be a part of like the memery. There's definitely like a lot of that that you don't really get that in other MMOs really. I mean, you sort of did with I know Throne and Liberty had the drama arc, but like in World of Warcraft with like sharding and like instancing, and you don't ever see the same people ever again. Like you just don't have that, right? It's a very sanitary environment.
Um,
So
There was
yeah,
Waka. He says the sports fishing is a perfect allegory for organic PvP overall. Ashes is finally chumming the water for us to find fights that just aren't scrims. I think, yeah, I really dug the sports fishing. And again,
yeah,
that
that
just one
system looks
profession,
sharp.
it looks so good. Just that one system of fishing and that loop in itself
It,
is pretty cool, man. Like
yeah,
I just don't want to
like
get out of
just
the water or go into the water. Like why? Like, you
the
know?
presentation of it's really good. Yeah,
No, I liked it too. Oh, Simon
yeah, the
said
going
he's
into
actually a PvP oriented player. He enjoys TNL PvP systems.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna
I
be
never played
mean.
TNL. I haven't
I'm
played
gonna be
TNL.
mean.
Okay.
Listen, if you like Throne and like if you like that game, you're gonna think Ashes is great. Like Throne and Liberty is. If you put up with all the bullshit Throne and Liberty throws at you, I think you will have a good time in Ashes of Creation. I think you at the very least will get your 40 some dollars worth. And I think worst case scenario, you play the game and you say, I'm gonna let this cook a little more. But if you're
True.
somebody that likes PvP in the Throne and Liberty type, if you have the same kind of mentality I think you do, or you're like you're kind of a little degenerate and like you're a little bit like you're a little edgy, I think you're gonna like what you're coming into.
Yeah. I
So
haven't played TNL. Like I don't let me see. Sean says I played a few versions. I will say that this MMO PvP is fairly predictable, as you know when you what you're getting yourself into. The community at large at AOC, at least in the last 2 years, has been really solid and supportive even during wars. Yeah, I think again there are certain guilds that are known for the stir and drama, but bro, being in this community for almost 5 years myself, like this community is fucking solid. Like, you know, every community has some toxicity to it, some more than others. But when you do find the reasonable people, like I met some really good fucking people that I've traveled to go visit and see, you know, and others that came to see me because we lived in Texas. It was really pretty fucking solid group here.
yeah, the PvP in Ashes, like there's always like the the people that don't know, like it's really funny that the people that know nothing about the game, they think that the biggest issue the game has is that it's just like max level players killing lobies. Like that's still what a lot of people think happens in the game. And then the people that actually play the game, their concern is the opposite, and that there's not enough PvP, right?
Right.
So it's really funny. It's really funny that that happens. But the thing with Ash's PvP is it's very much opt in.
Yeah.
So like um so like you might not, well, it's opt in, like you're kind of asking for it if you get PvP'd and you didn't want, so like if you run a caravan, that's you are flagging up for PvP. You are making the calculation like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can get away with this and not get any PvP, but it might happen. You're not just like walking around and some guy just takes you out. Like that's realistically not what happens. The penalty for somebody doing that to you is insanely steep. Unless you are Asmon Gold and somebody is killing you for the sole reason of just doing it because you're on stream to like 30,000 people. Like it just doesn't happen.
Right.
Um so yeah, and in terms of like toxicity, I'm of the opinion that I think that the mostly everybody is nice in Ashes of Creation. And the reason I say that, and it's not because they're good people, it's because you kind of are incentivized to be. Like if you're like a total shithead, it's not really great for business. Now some people are, there are shithead guilds that sort of they just do that. But you want them around because they make things interesting.
Yeah.
Like
They create servers to be interesting.
Yes, like the pirate software server. Like a lot of people ended up getting bored of that, where it was like the Kumbaya server, and then I don't know, it like that. A lot of people found that fucking lame,
Yeah.
and I think it's good to have some of these like guilds that are a little edgy and are disliked. I think that it's good that the game gets some emotion out of you. I feel like WoW and a lot of these games nowadays are so systemized that the whole game is black and white. Like you feel nothing. Like you play a lot of these games and you're not happy, you're not sad, you're just nothing. And it's just like soulless as fuck. Like I think it's better to play a game and have it sort of make you pissed than make you feel like nothing.
Bro,
Like, ah, fuck those guys.
my bro,
Yeah, like,
my friend plays fucking Tarkov because Tarkov released like a couple of weeks ago. Every time I go in his Discord, he's constantly yelling, "Fuck, shit, I saw him." Like you know, you know FPS.
But you also get the high highs of that, right?
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. You know.
So just I always make one because he's always like, "Scavs, you got scavs." So stupid. This is Sager is like, I'm fairly hardcore, but once settlement destruction comes on and your bank items go poof while you're offline, that's too much for me. I think honestly that's going to be something that we're going to be testing. And again, just like anything else, we had a whole system like static rarity that was going to be it. That was the system, that was the intent from the devs, and with all the feedback that you know, we gave them, they changed it. The other bit of feedback, and we've known this if you've been in the community even for 3 or 4 years, is that we praised Steven every time he said, oh yeah, completed gear drops were going to be very rare. Very, very rare you're going to find completed gear drops. And we experienced that, and guess what? Now it's changed. So I wouldn't place a single system, you know, oh, if this thing happens, like I'm not going to play the game anymore, because there could be things that could change. And honestly, I've even said
that's
it,
what
like,
we're testing for too, right? Like,
right.
That's the whole function of this.
Right. And I think, you know, some people put a little too much into a system, you know, of it being too much friction. But again, once we figure out, well, what is a node siege cooldown? How can it be reinitiated again? Right. Like if that storage gets completely destroyed, you know, is there like a protection then from that particular node that it can't get messed with for like at least 6 months or something like that, right? These are all things we got to figure out as a community. These are things Intrepid has to figure out on their end from the feedback, and, you know, maybe there'll be a compromise or whatever. So I wouldn't take anything like, you know, it's all changeable.
From my understanding of the intent of the node war system, this isn't like Rust, where somebody just like breaks into your base in the middle of the night and takes all your stuff while you're sleeping. It's not going to go down like that. From my understanding of what the intent of the system is that it's supposed to be a long, drawn out thing where it's like they declare war on the node, and then they like there's multiple phases. It's not like you're like, you know, you go to bed and wake up and like all your shit's gone. Like it's that from my understanding is not the intent. It's like a much like right now we do have like the sieges that just happen and mean nothing. Um, but from my understanding, it's supposed to be more of a drawn out thing. That's like much more of a process.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be, and I've said this before, I wouldn't mind if it was like at least 50% of your storage, like random pieces. So if you have like 5 tabs, 50% of it's just Thanos snapped, and the other 50% is still in that spatial or magical storage, right? So whenever the node gets rebuilt, 50% of it's all scattered across like the ruins or whatever, like Steven talked about. But you at least keep half your shit. You know what I mean?
What would be interesting?
Hmm.
What if the attacker could dictate what happened to those items? Like so like imagine like you're sieging the node and now you're becoming like the people in charge of it. What if you as the winners got to decide, do we take the stuff from these people or do we let them keep it?
Yeah.
I think that could be like really interesting, right? Do you want to be do you want this to be a hostile takeover? Or do you want this to be like a I think that'd be cool, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a crackhead idea.
Let me see. I'm fine with destruction as long as there's a window for the PvE players to react, creating trade caravans, evacuate into another node, etc. And again, this is all feedback that, if you, so I tell people all the time, like I stress this so much, is some people have really good ideas. Like I see on my streams, like, oh shit, like that seems like a reasonable idea. Like go to the forums, go to, Reddit, go to Discord in Ashes, like leave your thoughts. Like this is a company that truly listens. Like there's been so many things that we've talked about as content creators that truly end up getting fixed to our benefit. You know what I mean? It's not saying that we as content creators are changing the game, because we're also echoing our communities that are playing this game. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to stress the main issues. This is what we're doing technically for the roundtable, Zyback, right? Like we're
Yeah.
this is not just our selfish questions. These are questions that the overall community wants to know.
So Shankletons, I have a couple things I could say to put you at ease. So just based off of their attitude with the other changes they've made to the game, it seems like their intent is that this is not a game where you're just gonna get ambushed by some bullshit and get fucked. And the reason I say that is that they've made like so the corruption system right now is brutal. Like nobody is gonna kill you because the corruption system is overtuned. So so like there's a lot of decisions they've made in the game that make me think that they're erring away from that being a thing. Another example would be the wars, right? So they just recently made this change where when you declare war, it used to be that you could declare war and like the war starts right away. I'm sure you know about that, right?
Mhm.
Um, they made that have an hour cool, like it takes an hour for a war to start now. So it seems like they are going in the direction of letting people like they're not creating intentionally. They're not intentionally creating like gotcha systems where it's like we're gonna do this thing and fuck this guy over.
Yeah.
Like it seems like their intent is they're not making a game like that. They want there to be stakes, but there's not like brutal fuck over moments intentionally. It seems.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm gonna go ahead and get off. I hear my wife. She's like,
All
"Babe,
right,
are you
man.
done?"
Hey, yeah,
So
yeah, good chat, man.
might be in
For
trouble.
sure.
But
Oh,
dude,
that'd be
yeah,
all right.
thank you so much, Zyback, for coming on. Everybody in chat, thank you all. I hope you had a great time with this. This was really fucking awesome. I can't wait for this coming Thursday to talk to the man himself, ask these, I think, pretty fucking
Oh
good
yeah.
questions, man. I'm really
Yeah, yeah.
stoked out.
I think that people are probably gonna be surprised how like we got some tough questions. Like this is, yeah. They, there was nothing that we were not allowed to ask. So I know I definitely have some questions that are I don't know a little abrasive. I love the game, but I want to know some things.
Uh, all right. Well, let me see. There's literally no one in Ashes. There's one person that's playing a completely different game right now. So, I want to see, like, are my friends on? Like, it's kind of late at night. I don't know if there's anybody I know. I don't really see anybody. I really, I really don't see anybody.
Whatever.
It's whatever. I'll just end it. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pockets, for reminding me, though. Appreciate it. Guys, thank you all so much. If you love this conversation, you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You always keep up to date with all my 1v1s anytime I go stream randomly or whatever. I'm streaming every day as much as I can for you guys. Ashes of Creation content, of course, until the 11th, and I'll still be streaming after that. Zyback, again, you can find him on Zyback TV on YouTube. I'll leave in the description his things so you can go and watch his content later. Thank you all so much, and I'll see